Chicka chicka 1 2 1 2. Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Check 1 2 1 2. Yes. Can everyone in the audience hear me? Can you hear what I'm saying? Hope so. This broadcast has been taken over by Methwin Boyette. Yep, Methwin Boyette. Um, I uh, I realize that my destructive social media ability is now going to be used on the Sleeveless Comics channel. Okay, I can't keep doing that. Jesus Christ. Let's get started.
That's right. Don't blame yourself. Blame me.
Yo, what is up? Ladies and gents, welcome to the Sleeveless Comics Show. My name is Micah Curtis. This is Late Night Micah. And we are going to talk a bit about some craziness because, good Lord, there has been some insanity as time has gone on. Let's see who's here in the chat, though, before we get started. We got Smugpug. Good to see you, Smugpug. Personified Persona's here. Angry Green Boss. Schemes and Scams. Sultan El Fahim is here. Hardboiled Entertainment. I like let El Kabak run the channel. Oh, good Lord. Ravencroft's here. I think I said Hardboiled Entertainment. I'll say it again. Daniel Parker is here. Son of the Dragon says, I'd love to actually see them read a Frank Miller comic. Their heads would explode. Let's see here. Brainbox is here. Optimus is here. Got 2 countdowns. It was great. Optimus, if you want to help me dunk on some shit at any point tonight, you let me know and I'll let you in. I like having a co-host anyway. That's why I have a Hatman. But Hatman is only available on Fridays. So that is a thing. Okay. There's a little bit of a delay here from my face to the screen. So I need to do something real quick. And it's a little unfortunate that I have to do this because my camera quality is not going to be as good. But my computer just does not like me today. There we go. So anyway, let's get started with what. Why did I bring up Methwin again? For those of you who are wondering. So Edwin apparently decided to talk a little trash from what I was told. I was shown a couple chat screenshots where he was getting mad about like me and Ethan making fun of him and stuff like that. And what else was there? I don't even remember what the whole thing was. But he was like, oh, he was groveling and blah 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 blah. So let me just say something on a couple of things. Whenever it comes to people I like, if I wrong them, I will apologize for it. And if I realize I fucked up, I'll own it. I'll own up to it. Because I'll be honest, like just doubling down on everything is stupid. It really is. It's fucking retarded. And Edwin he's a grown fucking man. He's old. He's like 15 years older than me. He should know this. but he doesn't think. He's not a smart guy. I tried to, actually, no, I didn't try to do this, but I have a feeling that if you tried to update the Wikipedia entry on the Dunning-Kruger effect and add Edwin's face to it, because he should be there. He's the textbook example. They wouldn't let you do it because they think it's a personal insult. It's like, no, this is for science. But anyway, when it comes right down to it, Edwin, let's do the scorecard here. Okay, I want there to be a scorecard here, because there needs to, we need to think of some things. I have done some dumb shit. I will freely admit it. As time has gone on, I have grown to regret my criticism of Razor Fist and the way that I did it, because I never want to even give the impression that I want to cancel somebody, ever. That is just not the type of person that I am. I want people to be successful. I want people to make money. I want people to have fun, and, I wish people nothing but the best, even if I don't like them. And I'm not a fan of Razor Fist anymore. I used to be. But not anymore. But that's life. Sometimes you just grow out of things, right? But I regret that. I regret that shit, and I'll own up to it. I could have definitely worded what my feelings better. And the same thing with a lot of things. And that's something that I've been trying to become more cognizant of. So doubling down on everything is just fucking stupid. Edwin, again, should know this. He should be smart enough to know this, but he's not, because he's an idiot. Now, on the flip side, I just sent Optimus a link, by the way. Optimus is in your Discord. On the flip side, this motherfucker calls me a dummy dumb potato head. And this is a guy who actually did try to cancel Kelsey Shannon and doubled down on it. I watched the fucking stream where he tried to do it. And Mitch and Betty Brightweiser were calling him out in the fucking chat. He threatened to fucking strike EVS's channel for criticizing one of his walking streams because it was chock full of lies. He, from what I have been told, he fed Phil Cummings a lot of bad advice that, him and apparently a couple other dudes, basically fed him such bad life advice. Now he's divorced and can't see his kid. By the way, the advice to give Phil Cummings at that point in his life was get a job, take responsibility, stop worrying about the internet. That was it. It's that fucking simple. If Phil had listened to me, he wouldn't be in the problems that he is. But I already did the sad story of Phil's story. And if you want to go watch that video, that basically goes over all that shit. So there's that. And then on top of it, Edwin, I want to put something in perspective here. You are an embarrassment to every Republican across the United States. And now that Optimus is here, he can actually help me emphasize this.
Yate.
Specifically, Chief Justice Mayor Optimus. We have to be specific.
Yeah. Come on. You got to get it right.
Oh, yeah.
Respect my titles.
Let's are your pronouns Justice and Mayor?
Yes.
But seriously though, and you could confirm this, Edwin became literally the biggest embarrassment to the Republican Party across the entire United States.
Mm-hmm. And what's sad about that, and I want to emphasize this to people, if there are conservatives in Hawaii, if they ever want to get elected to public office, they have to run as a Democrat. Because the Republican Party is nigh non-existent already in Hawaii. What is there is barely anything to write home about. I mean, it would be like in New York City. Let's go to the Republican the Republican headquarters in New York City. And you go and it's like an old laundromat. That was like a 2-room laundromat, and the things, whoojamacallits are still there. You know, the whoojamacallits, the actual washer and dryer are just still there. You're just stacking stuff on that shit. You know, that's how little the Republican Party is in Hawaii. I don't think there's been a Republican come out of Hawaii in like 50 years.
I don't even know.
I mean, it's been a long time. But anyway, so Eddie got the bright idea. Somehow got up into the upper echelons of the Republican, which is not hard because it's, like I said, it's so tiny. And decided to start tweeting QAnon conspiracies on the official Hawaii Republican Party's Twitter account. And wondered why. I bet now he still wonders why. Why did they get mad?
Yeah. And then he wonders why EVS and I on that stream on Red's channel, why we were dunking on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got to be kidding, right? Like, all of us were laughing at this guy behind the scenes. And everybody who is, like, a political, activist on the right wing was face-palming.
Yeah.
Nobody defended him.
No, I would say even people like, crazy people like, was it Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene? Even they would be like, oh, God.
Yeah. The simple fact that, like, the crazies would not come out and defend Edwin is something. Fucking, I don't think Alex Jones would have even defended him if he knew what was going on.
Right.
That's fucking pathetic.
Well, you see, what we had today was some crazy person in the Hawaii Republican Party posted this thing on Twitter. And I don't understand. I just don't get it. It must be an interdimensional pedophile or something. I don't understand.
But seriously, it's like, Edwin, keep my fucking name out your mouth. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously. Like, I've done some dumb shit and I'll own up to it. And that was one thing he was like, oh, owning up to doing something stupid is what a man should do. You own up, you get better, and stuff like that. If you don't own up to shit, you're just being a fucking child about everything. Yep.
If we want to play that game, we can do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure. A lot of people know it. It's like a known unknown now, but it's been so separated at this point. I don't think anybody cares as far as like, if it's out there, except maybe a meth one. But
yeah,
guys, I'm gonna tell you something very clearly. Edwin is literally a scumbag.
Yeah,
there is no like, oh, he's just misinformed. No, he's a scumbag. If anybody get a chance, follow. There's a guy on Twitter, Chibi Mike Murphy.
I was gonna bring that up. I'm glad you did.
Because I was one of the first ones to know about it. This is when I found out Edwin was a scumbag, right? So this was during the period of a website called IndieCron. If you know anything about that, it's basically and to his credit, I think Pickles Trader's trying, he's still maintain, he's still trying to maintain it like being what he originally saw it as, just an aggregate. This is what it is, listing, crowdfunding, things like that. Well, when Edwin started getting a part of it, people were like, because some of the radical stuff he started saying, it was like, I don't think I want to be part of IndieCron anymore. And Mike Murphy was one of those people. And he approached Edwin and says, yeah, I think I just want to, take, I want to say it was
Samurai Dinosaurs.
Samurai and Dinosaurs. He wanted that taken down off the site. So what Edwin did, instead of just being a man and like saying, okay, I understand, no hard feelings, we'll take it down, right? He went and pulled the aggregates of how much money IndieCron made for his campaign, and was like, well, it sure would be a shame if you lost out on all this money next time you tried to crowdfund. Now think about that, guys. Think about that. No, and Angry Geek Boss, no, Vox Day was never part of IndieCron.
Just to clarify. Yeah. Edwin was promoting Vox Day's books. And
Gondela Rose.
And he wanted to put everybody that was associated with Vox Day, that whole crew, on IndieCron with the stuff that they were doing. And some of us wanted nothing to do with that.
Right.
And then that led to my first major confrontation with Edwin. I did a video on it on my main channel. That's basically said, I want Englewood off of IndieCron. That's exactly what it's titled. And I laid into him hard. And what really made, like, I wasn't super angry until he tried to say that I was trying to destroy Chuck Dixon's career. Now, let me just say this. I've spoken with Chuck Dixon. I like Chuck a lot as a person, and on top of that, he's one of my inspirations as a writer. His Batman stuff is just fucking fantastic. And you're gonna sit there and say that I want one of my favorite writers destroyed? Fuck you.
I mean, one of your favorite characters is Bane, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to destroy the guy who helped create Bane.
Yeah, like that totally sounds like me.
Yeah.
So yeah. And we're going to be talking about a writer getting canceled a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to see how angry I'm going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm fucking fuming about this. Because it's another one of my favorite writers. Another one of the guys who inspired Englewood. Chuck was another. So, like, ugh.
Mm-hmm.
So that really got me. So Mike Murphy Mike Murphy is at a point where every single campaign he ever launches, there is a white drugs tier.
Yeah.
Just to throw shade at Edwin.
And if you're wondering why it's always a certain amount, if like it's $480 some dollars,
yeah,
that's the amount. That's the amount that Edwin hung over his head. Like $487 was the amount that Edwin hung over his head. That's why he comes up with like, what was it? The white drugs. I think was it in for the last one? It was El Blanco. I forgot
El Blanco Negro. No, not El Blanco. But what is the Spanish word for white?
Blanco is white, but it was the drugs. I was trying to think what the word for drugs is.
So yeah, I just said the white black.
You did just say the white black, yeah. That's like
Hold on. I'll look it up.
Yeah, if you remember that you reminded me. Remember those G.I. Joe things that came out a few years ago, where it's like they made fun of the PSAs at the end of the thing.
Yeah.
And like one of the kids like caught a ball and like I think it was Alpine or somebody came out and he says, "Nice catch, Blanco Nino." I said, "Did you just call him the white kid?"
Yeah. It's just drogas.
Yeah. Okay,
so
yeah.
Drogas Blanco.
Drogas Blanco. Yeah, so the white drugs.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, people started calling him Methwin, and he was like, "I don't take the white drugs." I'm like, well, for one thing, I don't think meth is white. I think it's like a blue color, isn't it? Like,
well, only on Breaking Bad it is kind of.
Well, still,
white. It's crystallized though, and you crunch it. Yeah.
That's when he said the white drugs. That's where cocaine came from. I'll be honest with you. That's. I was like, he said that, and then like a few days later, I was like going through. You know how you have, like randomly things on YouTube pop up, and all of a sudden, I had there's the Arnold thing from Red. What was it called? Red. I forgot the name of the movie now.
It's the one he did with Jim Belushi.
There's Red something. I just can't.
I'm gonna look that up because that's gonna bother me.
Yeah. But anyway, so I got this like Arnold just going pouring Coke out of a
Red Heat. Red Heat.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you, Daniel Parker, for bringing it up at the same time we. But yeah, you got friggin' Arnold Schwarzenegger pouring cocaine out of a fake leg, and he's like cocaine. I was like. Now I started putting two together and put the whole thing in, add a little JonTron to it.
Yeah, and then I threw on a fucking Ushanka, and Yanafui obliged, and I it actually kind of bothered me because he's like, I think I'm banned on Micah's channel. I'm like, I would never ban Yanafui. I love his I love that video. Like just it's perfect because of how much I hate Edwin. Yep. So when it comes right down to it, like, Edwin, shut up. Yeah. Stop talking shit about people when you have nothing to, you have nothing. Like, you've fucked up everything that you've touched. It just goes kerplunk. Does he even hang around with Smiller anymore? Does Mike even want anything to do with him?
I don't think so.
If he lost Mike, that's hilarious.
Because remember, they were like buddies. They were like,
yeah.
I mean, wasn't it like Edwin even said to like EVS one time? He says, like, almost like, I want to thank you so much for introducing me to Mike S. Miller. It's like, but
man alive.
But yeah, and like I said, I have to look. They might still hang out. I don't know, but still, it's like.
I don't watch Mike's stuff, so I'll never know. So.
Right. Well, it got to the point where it was kind of grating. You know, and it comes from, and I liked Mike for a while, you know, and he just, I don't know.
He can be all right. I mean,
Yeah.
I've talked to him.
Yeah.
And I'm capable of being civil with him, but I know I annoy the piss out of him.
Right.
Because he asked me like my criticisms about what is it of Lone Star, and I basically said, I'm like, your character's a sociopath. Yeah. And I'm like, you write him like a sociopath. I'm like, this dude does not talk like he's ever spoken to another human being. And he just got so pissed off. And I'm like, if you want me to, I'm like, I am a better writer than you. If you want me to tell you how I'd write them, I'm like, or you can contract me. And he just like, all right, never mind. New topic. I'm like, I'm just smiling. And he goes, you just think you're cute, don't you? And I dropped the Vegeta from fucking Abridged on him. I'm like, bitch, I'm adorable.
But yeah, I mean, the thing is, you made a right assessment about that. It's like, you know, Lone Star just goes around beating people up, and it's like, it has no sympathy whatsoever for what he's doing. It's like he
doesn't beat up. Like, he made me, the Lone Star character made me sympathetic for an MS-13 member,
right?
Like, because he's like fucking torturing the dude.
Yeah,
like in front of this woman who is like getting even more and more horrified as it's going on. I'm like, is this supposed to be ironic?
It should have been, you know, it should have been a straight up knock the dude out, get him out of the problem, and then make sure the woman's okay. You know?
Yeah. Hey, look who's here. The man himself.
Hey.
Joe Ball. I've seen you're putting death art on your Twitter, Joe, and I'm very happy about that because I want that fucking book.
Looks amazing.
He says, I've came across some wacky QAnon vids on BitChute where people put Mike's clips in their Q vids. Oh no. I hope Mike ain't going down that road. Mike, don't do it. Mike, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You know what I think happened? I'll be honest with you. This is what I think happened. And I made this point the other day on the stream. I think you might have heard it. I don't know if you did or not. Some people, they saw the blow up of political commentary that happened right after the election.
Mm-hmm.
Like what happened with Doug TenNapel.
Yeah.
He's a prime example. I'm going to, you know, and I'm where it's due. You know, he started talking about it. People started tuning in. He got almost 300,000 subs.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a channel anymore now, though. What good did it do him?
Yeah.
I mean, and he was more going into the conspiracy of the stuff than he was just reporting what's going on. See, that's why I respect somebody like Nick Rekieta. When he's talking about like the audit or whatever that's going on, he's talking about the actual audit, what has been said, what can be confirmed. He's not like going, well, you know, this is going to lead to Trump coming back into power on August the 3rd and, you know, crap like that. You know what I mean? I was like, no, okay, guys, like we have a sworn in president now. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
There is no, even Rekieta points it out, there is no legal, you know, just a tangent real quick. There is no legal precedent to recall a sitting president.
Yeah.
There is not in the Constitution. The only way you can do it is impeachment, and they're not going to impeach Biden. No, it's not going to happen. So
not unless both houses flip with the midterm, which is possible, but still.
Yeah, but then you have Kamala Harris.
Yeah, like you really want to go down that road?
You'd literally have to do like 2 or 3 impeachments to get somebody in there you'd want. You know, so like, it's not. It just write it out. You know.
Yeah. When it comes right down to it, the point is that the like Edwin just needs to stop. Just stop talking noise about people that like don't have the like I said, I've got some fuck ups. I'm by no means a perfect human being, and I've got my regrets, but I'll own up to that shit and I'll try to be a better man. Edwin he is completely and totally disconnected from reality when it comes to this sort of shit. And again, the fact that he gave Phil Cummings bad life advice and tore his life up, definitely go fuck yourself. So
what's really funny is like if you look up Edwin Boyette now, all it is about the Hawaii GOP official resigning after posting pro QAnon tweets.
Yeah.
I mean, he has nothing. I mean, that's his legacy now because of that.
Yeah.
And he should he should take stock on that first.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Exactly. Because people mock the fact that I write for RT. There ain't nothing like there's some journalists out there that have written for RT and went on to work at different places, and they still had careers afterwards. It's
Uh-huh.
and it's not like I write conspiracy theories. I'm hired to discuss domestic United States coverage.
Oh no, he doesn't.
What?
He's got another channel called Middle Earth Storytime. He reads.
Oh yeah,
Oh no.
So if you guys find yourself short of Nembutal, there you go.
Oh no.
Frodo, he picked up the ring. Picked up the ring. If you don't know what a ring is, it's a circular object with it's made out of gold. Oh God.
I just like the fact that, like, okay, I've screwed any chance I had of a career in politics and possibly comic books and anything else. So, yeah, I guess I just, I'm gonna read about freaking Middle Earth. Oh man,
The fuck is no Nembutal. Nembutal is something you can take to help you sleep. It's very, very strong.
Oh look, when I look up Edwin Boy at YouTube, yours is like the 5th thing down was that I want offended crime.
Oh no. Oh
man.
That's hilarious.
I'm just looking at different stuff. It's just, pretty funny.
Yeah. So when it comes right down to it, though, I don't want to make this whole thing about politics. My point is just like, fucking Edwin, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and speaking of, just like not political, but like you said, giving out bad advice. You remember when speaking of Miller?
You
remember when he convinced Mike to like change the whole Blacklist universe into something about him, about Mike S. Miller, drawing time with Mike S. Miller. And I'm like, okay, you've spent like the past year being Blacklist universe. And now because Edwin thinks you should change it, you're going. And the whole thing was like, Injustice was really popular. And, you were the artist of Injustice, so you should put yourself out there as you instead of I'm like, no, you absolutely no. See, you don't understand. It's like Injustice and things like that. That was video game.
Yeah, nobody.
Why was popular, and the
comic was not that popular.
I mean, yeah, mildly. That's about it. It wasn't. Only adherents to really want to know the Injustice story really bought those.
Yeah. Now the story wasn't half bad in him, but that wasn't Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that if you mention anything with Injustice, people are gonna think NetherRealm Studios. They're not gonna be thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's like, and not to mention like the like what he changed it to was stupid. It was like Art of the Hero with Mike S. Miller.
That's what it was. Yeah. Art of the Hero with Mike S. Miller.
I'm like, dude, Blacklist Universe is a good name.
Yeah.
And if you want to put it in there, Blacklist Universe with Mike S. Miller, that could work.
Yeah.
But
I think we all had that whole like when Zach did the whole like changing it from diversity in comics to Comics Matters with your boy Zach. It's like, what are you doing?
I know.
Okay, so apparently Mike does still stream with Edwin because see a looking
Mike
at
Mike, run!
Yeah, get out while you can.
Go find a new co-host. But anyway, so needless to say, though, shut up, Edwin. Just stop. Just fucking stop. Just stop it. Because Jesus tap dancing Christ. Like it's there is not like I can't think of somebody off the top of my head that like has done something more embarrassing than what Edwin Boyette did. Like on a consistent basis, trying to be somebody of influence.
Mm-hmm.
In the words of the famous philosopher Dwayne Johnson, also known as the People's Champion, also known as The Rock, know your role and shut your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on to
next.
Let's move on to the let's move on to something of consequence or somewhat of consequence.
Yeah.
Frank Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I love Frank Miller. I love his writing.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Probably one of my biggest influences whenever it comes to my street level writing. Like fucking Born Again is, I would say if there's any one story that really put me in the headspace to write Englewood, like the first arc, which finishes with book 2, it was definitely Born Again. That it's a classic Daredevil story. Then of course you've got the Dark Knight Returns, and then you've got Sin City, which ended up becoming a huge hit in comics, and then a huge hit at the box office. I haven't
300
and 300, which is probably my favorite Zack Snyder movie. Now that I think about it, that or Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
I honestly think that was what's the Latin term for best performance? I forget it.
Oh gosh, you got me. I have no clue.
Hold on.
You're gonna look it up, aren't you?
Yes.
Don't blame
This is the not Optimus Preferencer. God, I cannot remember it. Magnum Opus. That's it. Thank you, Smug.
Ah, yes, the Magnum Opus. Yeah.
This is what I was looking for. But yeah, I like 300 was definitely Zack Snyder's Magnum Opus. So I still maintain it's his best film. But anyway, Ultimate Agent actually makes a good point here. It says the Injustice prequel comics are fantastic. They're written by Tom Taylor, which infuriates me because he seems to have forgotten his talent. Yeah, we're going to talk about like writers basically forgetting their talent in the second section, because we're going to be talking a bit about that He-Man shit.
Yeah.
So, let me reorient the page here real quick. So, suddenly my camera is fucking tiny. So, convention pulls Sin City creator Frank Miller from its lineup after outcry. So this is from the Daily Dot.
Outcry by one person. Just one.
Yeah. Let's have a look at this. So, UK Comics Convention Thought Bubble has announced that it will no longer be hosting Frank Miller as a guest in response to a backlash from attendees and other guests. It says, over the last 14 years, Thought Bubble has grown into an amazing community of comic creators and fans who we love, trust, and respect. Unless you want to see Frank Miller, in which case, fuck you. We have let you down, and in our commitment to maintaining Thought Bubble as a safe space for all, we have fallen short. How old is Frank Miller?
In his 60s?
He's in his 60s.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is scared of a 60-year-old frail man?
Yeah. At 64, yeah.
Find me this person,
and
then I will show you a liar. Okay. We exist to share the art form and its worlds with people. If any individual group or community feels uncomfortable or excluded from our show, then we failed. We know that many of you are disappointed in us and have been expecting a comment on this before now. We're sorry for our silence. Well, we've been trying to fix this. Frank Miller will not be attending Thought Bubble. We are deeply sorry, particularly to those who we should be standing up for the most. Well, apparently that's not fucking artists who have creative work or, creative freedom. But anyway, we know there's still more to discuss. We'll be replying with those who've been in touch. We hope we can bear this while we do this. We won't let you down again. They didn't let anybody down by having Frank Miller. Because basically what ended up happening is, let's see if they've got here it is. Shortbox. Shortbox. I don't even know who this is. Who is Shortbox?
They're a publisher. Independent publisher of fun and fine contemporary comics. As your boy Zach put it, this is they put out SJW comics that librarians buy and put on the shelves.
God, it looks like it.
Yeah. If you want, I'll read their statement about why they were.
Yeah, upset. Go right ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry to inform you that Shortbox, by the way, Zach calls it the Short Bus, but
yeah,
that Shortbox and I will no longer be attending Thought Bubble Festival this November. I was invited as a guest in 2020, which rolled over to this year. I have been excited to attend, represent my authors, and share our books with readers after almost 2 years of no conventions. However, as a proud Muslim woman, I cannot in good conscience attend a festival that deems it appropriate to invite and platform Frank Miller, a person who is responsible for the propagation of abhorrent anti-Muslim hate, particularly via his work. Anti-Muslim bigotry is repugnant and condemnable, yet has become so deeply rooted, so widely accepted in society that it is not even given as cursory consideration, as evidenced once again in this situation. I cannot comprehend how time and time again festivals and communities within comics espouse values regarding inclusivity, diversity, comics being for everyone, zero tolerance on hate, but all that lip service evaporates when they are asked to enact those same values. So they were literally the only person that complained.
Yeah. And nobody's heard of them. Not really. So, good Lord. The insanity here astounds me. It really does. Because I think to myself, like, I've read Holy Terror. It's not, I don't think it's a very good book. It's clearly not Frank Miller's best. He could have done a lot more with it. It was apparently supposed to start as a Batman story. And it was basically supposed to be Batman versus Al-Qaeda, which is a terrorist group. And instead, it's another superhero. I think it's called the Fixer.
Yeah, basically, it's not Batman with not Catwoman and not Commissioner Gordon fighting terrorists.
Fighting Al-Qaeda.
Yeah.
It's really obvious in the book that it is terrorists.
And it's also very obvious that this is a writer who wants to espouse their thoughts about 9/11.
Yeah. And the whole world, except for like certain places in the Middle East, was pissed. Like this is obvious. You know? And if you honestly think, I'm going to just say this, if you think that you read Holy Terror and you think that Frank Miller is talking about all Muslims, you're a goddamn retard. You have double-digit IQ. You are the dumbest motherfucker. Your name might be Edwin Boyette. I'm kidding, but seriously though, like I don't know how you could come to that conclusion. But let's be honest about what this is. The Muslim woman who was making a big stink about this, nobody knows who she is.
No.
Never written a comic that's been interesting to my from what I found. You know? Or anything along those lines. Meanwhile, you have Frank Miller. One of the greatest comic book writers of all time.
Yep.
A goddamn fucking icon. And you want him canceled. You want him destroyed. You want to make him out to be an Islamophobe. Preston's here. What's up, buddy? He says, Holy Terrors was Frank's worst work, but it was not only created because of his feelings toward 9/11, but he was also going through chemo treatment. He wasn't in his right mind.
And also at the time, he was also going through some other things. You know, he had alcoholism and, you know, probably drug problem. You know, he was going through a lot.
Yeah.
And you look at Frank Miller, like even 10 years ago, and you look at Frank Miller now, and you're thinking, okay, I remember I told you he's 64. He looks like he's 80.
Yeah. Somebody said earlier, he's 64 going on 90.
Yeah. And
that dude's got some miles on him. You look at him and then you look at like Jim Starlin now. Jim Starlin's in really good health. You know, or
I forgot who it was.
You know,
I forgot who was it, Arthur Adams or somebody. Somebody got him straight. Basically, almost took him behind the woodshed kind of thing and said, "Look, you dumb son of a bitch, you need to quit this shit, or you're gonna die." You know?
I can speak as a professional writer. Like, there's some stuff that, like, when you write about it, it takes you to a very dark place, and it fucks with you. And Optimus can actually, like, earlier in the week, I was a fucking mess because I was writing a horror book, The First Servant, and I'm writing the novella that I'm working on, which is also basically a horror novel, which is about like human experimentation and shit, which is the prologue to Project Lazarus, or the prequel. I was not in a good headspace, and I barely drink anymore. I don't do any of that shit. I was fucking just like, I was like, I want to die.
Yeah, he was, you know, and not to get too much into your personal stuff, you know, obviously, but he was, you know, and people who are in his Discord know, You were talking some stuff, and I'm like, this ain't Micah.
No, I was in my character's head.
Right.
And there's a point, and I'll actually just tell people about this, is that there is a point. So a lot of you guys know when I've talked about Project Lazarus, there is see you later, Rocket. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. But for Project Lazarus to be what it is, the lead character of Alpha has to be experimented on. Because he's the only human being that they know of with special powers until they meet Omega. So he's like, they're literally dissecting him at points.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a point where they decide to hire the main character's little sister, who is a genius psychologist, who graduates with their doctorate at 22 years of age.
Nice.
And they're hiring her because they want somebody to be counseling her brother that he'll trust. And on top of that, somebody who has experience with post-traumatic stress disorder. And she basically got her doctorate. Her internship, she was counseling rape victims. So already we're delving into dark areas, right? So my headspace is beyond fucked. Well, she's going through all this shit, and her father already feels bad because he's had to basically say, hey, by the way, demons exist. And here's this old tome. She basically told her the story of 3 Nights, 4 Days and told her all that shit. And if you've gotten your copy of 3 Nights, 4 Days already, and Preston's here, he can testify to this. It's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to introduce her to that. It's like, oh yeah, that actually happened. And so and then his fucking assistant, Dr. Townsend, who I named after Devin Townsend, one of my favorite metal artists ever. Mm-hmm. He basically comes out with a chart, and is talking to Dr. Connors, the lead character of the book, and says, test today went well, but we've had to reattach his leg. Dude's little sister is right there when he says this. She freaks the fuck out and runs to his bedside. And there's her brother in a coma, just laying in a bed, and he's been there for over a year. She hasn't seen him yet. And now she finds out that he's being experimented on. Imagine how, as a father, you would feel. That's where my head was at. Like the lead character, Dr. Connors, like he feels at the point that I'm writing, he feels like he has fucked up the entire world that his children had. And even though some of the things that are going on, he doesn't really have a choice to. It's either don't do this, and the world dies. So basically, like, his son has to basically be turned into something to fight the forces of hell. Mm-hmm. And to do that, the things that they have to do are fucked up. So he feels like awful, beyond awful. And I was in his head. So I could kind of like identify where Frank Miller's headspace might have been. And I'm not even drinking. I can only imagine if I was drinking and doing this.
I mean, you think about this, looking, it sounds like that Frank must be, he's pretty kind of a patriotic dude. Yeah. You've seen your country under attack, right? You see, icons of our strength just, torn down. That's going to mess with you. And if you're drinking, it's going to mess with you even more, And so he, his outlet was to create a story. And it, of course, originally being a Batman story. Now, we knew even then DC was not going to release that story.
No.
I mean, Rambo, yes, you could get away with him fighting Al-Qaeda. You can't get away with Batman fighting Al-Qaeda. It just, it doesn't make any, it doesn't make, because Batman, I think we can all agree, unless it's a direct threat to Gotham, Batman doesn't care as much.
Yeah. The only superhero I can think of that actually fought Al-Qaeda during that time was actually Ultimate Captain America in Ultimates 2. And it's only one issue, and it's barely a thing.
Mm-hmm. And that was just like, they sent him to the Middle East and go clean out this hive of Al-Qaeda. Okay.
Yeah.
And Captain America, I do things like that. Yeah.
Marvel at the time had given Mark Miller a blank check, basically, to do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah.
So yeah, instead of the Dragon actually points out, he says, I'm pretty sure he was living in New York when 9/11 happened. Yeah.
See, that's even closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
This actually means a lot to me. Just a minute before we continue. You tapped into your inner Gona guy and Kintaro Miura at the same time. Thank you. Smugpod brings up a good question. I think if Garth Ennis did it, he could probably pull it off. He did some stuff with Punisher Max in the Middle East, but it was like against the Russians. Like it wasn't, and it was a carrying on of that arc that went throughout that entire run, which is, in my opinion, is the best Punisher story I've ever told. But yeah, I think it could work with Frank. But anyway, to think though that Frank, and by the way, Frank actually regrets the story. Let me pull up the quote real quick.
And see, that's looking at like some of the comments that people were quote tweeting, and they were saying like, let me see, what was one that was like really out there? Yeah, here you go. I haven't read Holy Terror, so this person doesn't know what a story is. I've not seen it described anywhere as anything other than Islamophobic. Okay.
Well, then you're talking to the wrong people.
Yeah. Nor have I seen Frank Miller express regret or remorse for its potential impact.
Okay. Well, let's get on that. So,
okay.
Let's see here. There was a quote that I had here. Oh, he said, he goes, he said in 2018, Miller expressed regret for writing Holy Terror. When I look at Holy Terror, which I don't really do that all that often, I can really feel the anger ripple out of the pages. I don't want to wipe out chapters of my own biography, but I'm not capable of that book again. Which by the way, like of any creative person, you will probably have something that you do that you regret, but you don't want it to be erased from history because it's part of your process. It's how you got better. Like it.
I mean, even Frank sees it as a dark time of something, and that's hard for a writer to do, to say this was in a dark spot and I regret writing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that he could go and say, this is something that I wrote at the time, and like I said, it was probably a lot of emotion. Like I said, if he lived in New York, you could understand that. I mean, it was impactful for the entire nation, but people in New York, I mean, it shook them for what, years?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to fault him for what he wrote. And if it's something that he doesn't, if he's come to regret that he wrote, fair enough. It's his work. But to say that he's unrepentant, just saying that he's an Islamophobe on top of anything, that's crap. That's crap.
That's bullshit. Like, fuck you, fuck that person for saying that. If you're gonna basically call somebody a racist, which is what they're doing, you better have some hard fucking evidence that they hate the person that you're saying that they hate. And this is not hard evidence, not by a fucking long shot.
Yeah.
Like everybody should hate Al-Qaeda.
That should be
I don't think that's a controversial statement. Everybody should hate Al-Qaeda. It's sort of like the fucking Weathermen. They were a terrorist group. Everybody should hate the fucking Weathermen. Or the Aryan Brotherhood. Everybody should fucking hate the Aryan Brotherhood. It's like, those are not controversial statements. All of those groups are terrorist groups. All of those groups are hate groups. All of them are evil. Like that's not fucking hard to do. But
let me take this then. Okay, I'm gonna use something here, and I'm only using this because Frank dunked on this guy so hard that it deserves to be mentioned. I'm gonna use him for the example here, right? And I'm talking about Hardboilt's not Hardboiled, dang. Get it right in a minute. Ultimate Agents, it's Hardboiled, excuse me. Hardboilt's favorite, writer, Ing. Okay.
Oh no.
And we remember what Frank said to Tom King.
Yeah.
About Batman. Where we all see fucking that he Tom King tries to use comics as his personal diary. That, this is how I cope with like my crap and whatever. Get out.
Dear diary, today I put my Batman mask on and stood naked in front of the mirror.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And then I wrote a story about Batman standing naked in front of a mirror because that's what Batman would do. No, he wouldn't. Shut up. But that was if you remember, that was the alpha dunk that Frank Miller put on Tom King, because he was saying that at a convention, talking about like, well, I think everybody sees Batman as themselves and blah blah blah, and then fucking Frank Miller goes, Batman is a billionaire and a philanthropist, and he goes around, at nights and beats up criminals. Why would he want to be you? And Tom King's face melted, like I just got destroyed.
Yeah.
Now, I'm using this for an example because, okay, all right, they say Frank Miller's an Islamophobe, this and that, and the other, blah blah blah, because of something he wrote 20 years ago, or 15 years ago, whatever. Tom King worked for the CIA.
Yeah.
He worked in Iraq. He probably facilitated the killing of Muslims.
I mean, you can read. He says that the what was it? It's not the Butcher of Babylon. What's it called?
Butcher of Baghdad?
No. It's a book he wrote. Let me look it up real quick. It's the book he did that he got the first Eisner for. It was before he did Omega Man. Sheriff of Babylon.
Okay.
The Sheriff of Babylon. If Holy Terror is Islamophobic, then the Sheriff of Babylon is Islamophobic. Mm-hmm. I'll say that right now. And I've read the Sheriff of Babylon, and it is really good. But fuck me, dude. There's some crazy shit in that book.
I think we can all have this agreement about Tom King that when he's on, and he's not when he's not using the book as his personal diary, he's on. He can be a good writer. I mean, fuck him for trying to cancel Jay Lee.
Yeah, I don't know what his problem with Asians is, but Jesus.
Like Asians
or dogs.
Muslims. I mean, were janitors fighting in the Middle East? Yes. Probably.
Preston said this a bit earlier. He says, I guarantee none of the people trying to cancel Frank has any idea what it's like to face death or lose a friend due to politics. So fuck him. Come to Indie Comics. Frank will welcome you. He ever put something on crowdfund, I will probably back it.
Yeah.
Even with the things he said about Trump, I'm not so defensive of Donald Trump that I really care that much if somebody doesn't like him. It's like, just keep it out of your books. Because the fact of the matter is, the Dark Knight book that he did that had stuff like that in it was the lowest selling one. Mm-hmm. I hope he learned his lesson from that.
Was it the third one?
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It wasn't the Master Race. It was the one after that. There was a fourth one he did. Okay. But the Master Race was good, I thought. Because he did that. Was it? That was co-written by Brian Azzarello, though. Mm-hmm. So it was a little different.
Because there was Dark Knight Returns, and then Dark Knight Strikes Again. Was that it? Was that the sequel to Dark Knight Returns?
Let me find out.
Because I know there was I know they did Dark Knight, and that one was, people felt that was a little weak, but it was still good. It wasn't as good as Returns, but
Yeah, let me find it here, because I do remember the second one being a bit weaker.
Not bad, but just weak. It was
because one thing that I'll even say about Frank Miller is the Dark Knight Returns has criticism of the Reagan era.
Yeah,
it's still a classic.
Yeah, I mean, when you got an image of Reagan draped in the American flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was used as just saying Frank, I can understand what you're saying is sometimes people start wars draped in the American flag, and that's supposed to make it okay.
Yeah, it is the Dark Knight Strikes Again. You were right.
Okay.
So
and it's like Hardbolt said, Strike has some great moments and some very weak stuff.
Yeah, and then the same thing could be said of his original script for RoboCop 2, which he ended up turning into a comic. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
And then there was RoboCop 3, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah, there's actually a comic book that exists that is a remake of RoboCop 3. That's a comic book. It's 12 issues, and it's really, really good.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, though. I read it because it was on Comixology, and at the time I had a Comixology unlimited account. So yeah, it was good. If somebody could find the title, I'll say go read that. But
yeah.
The only criticism I would have with it is the color work was a little weak, but obviously I'm very persnickety about color, as some of you guys have seen.
Yeah.
So
is Armand. Poor guy.
Steiner recliner, baby. Speaking of which,
wait, Miller did RoboCop vs. Terminator? That was an awesome book.
Yeah, he did do that. I didn't read it. I haven't, or not at least.
Oh man, it was great. It was freaking great.
But we're actually gonna take an Englewood break because I want to show off some pages.
Nice.
Though I think you're gonna really dig what this is something that Armand did while he was waiting for Brian to send more pages to him. Is he colored over Duke from G.I.
Oh
Joe,
yeah,
and turned him into the Saint.
Yeah, I thought that was a great piece.
That's a race swap I think some people could get behind.
Mm-hmm.
God, we have a lot more of this book done than I realized. That's probably bad. I have been so busy. Like, Jesus Christ. Sorry. It shouldn't take as long as it is, but I'm trying to make sure I got everything lined up.
Mm-hmm.
But where'd it go? Trying to find page 1. I'm balancing 2 different computers here, so.
While you're doing that, I'll read what Gojira said. I think it's funny. He says, and yet Dark Knight Returns feels like it's a copy and paste of the film Death Wish in places, which is about as not left wing as you can get.
This is true.
Yeah.
So let's look at the campaign real quick.
All right.
Which is doing better than I was. It's pretty good for not having done any stream appearances yet to promote, except for Graded. Like, Graded's the only one I've gone on.
Mm-hmm. And you're going on some like one this weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be on with the rabbi from another planet, who's wanted to talk to me for a while, so I'm looking forward to that. But Englewood Book 2, we're at 93 backers, 7 days of the first 30. We will extend on this, obviously. So we're just shy of hitting that halfway mark. If we could hit that halfway mark by the day we extend it, guys, we're on goal to hit what we need. One thing I will admit, though, is that this is what I call comfortable funding. And Hatman and I kind of agreed we probably shouldn't have set it this high. So we could probably, like, 13 grand would probably be enough. But if for some reason it does not fund, we will just go ahead and relaunch with a lower goal. You know? So, because, yeah, we don't need this much. So that's my bad. I shouldn't have let that go through. But I did upgrade the campaign for those of you who haven't seen it. Or not upgrade, but update it. Still, we got the same pages. But for those of you who are interested in getting the Windy City special, obviously these are the 2 other posters you can choose from. For those of you who get book 1 on this campaign, this is the cover you get. And then this is the Saint versus Dracula, which is done by artist Bogdan Rizea, who is also working with me on that same horror comic I told you guys about, The First Servant, which is about Dracula in the Sleeveless universe and how he came to be. So this looks fucking amazing. This could be a cover in and of itself. Like, it's fucking nuts. So, and then art prints. If you back the Windy City special, which is the featured tier, these are the art prints you get. These are the chapter pages, which could be covers in and of themselves. I'm getting fuzzy.
Yeah, I got a little fuzzy for some reason in the when you go big.
That's weird. Let me try something. Let me do this. Does that improve it?
Let's see. Not really. It looks a little pixelated still.
What the fuck? It looks fine on my end. All right.
Maybe try. Can you just do a screen share? Maybe. Would probably.
Yeah, I'm kind of big braining it with with that. I'll have to open this up on the other computer real fast.
Yeah.
So bear with me.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll talk about some little quality of life things I was told about for on StreamYard. Apparently now you can actually record videos in StreamYard and then set it to upload when you want it to. I think that's pretty
nice.
cool. That's pretty neat.
I would agree. Okay. Oh, God. The problem is my laptop is getting taxed. So, okay. Now I've got it, I think. Okay. Now we've got it. Let me just do the thing.
Oh, yeah, that's much clearer.
Yeah, there we go.
Mhm.
All right. So as I was saying, yeah, we're not too far away from 50%. You know, I think we'll get there within 7 days. So, but anyway, as I was saying, for those of you who get the Windy City special, the prints themselves that you get in that, they could be covers by themselves.
Yeah.
So here's
cool.
the first one.
That was awesome.
This one might be my favorite of the three.
That was really cool too.
Yeah. This one was I was talking to some people one night. I'm like, I would really like to see a cover or a print or something of the perspective of somebody getting their ass kicked. And let me just say, this encapsulates the second chapter quite well. But this one, though, is really, really good too.
Oh yeah, the what do you call this print? Yeah, you call this the fuck Carlos print. Yeah.
So awesome job by everybody involved.
I have this feeling. I just get this. I don't know. Considering what I read in Englewood 1, Carlos is going to have a really bad day, isn't he?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Also, Englewood Peregrine. There is a print, by the way. Everybody who backs this physical gets a free print for that is obviously to help promote the Englewood Peregrine crossover. Preston's doing it. Preston's in the chat right now. So let me just put it this way: Optimus and I have shelled out money out of our own pockets to give you guys free art from Preston.
Yes.
Who else is doing that? Nobody.
Exactly.
So anybody who backs physical will get that print. Preston's still doing stuff with 6-gun. So Preston will have to get together. I'll have to send you what the references and stuff you need, because he gets to design one of the big bads of the Sleeveless universe in Tash. I cannot. There's nobody I want touching that character other the design than Preston. Seriously. So because his monster designs are so fucking good. But I was going to show off some pages. So this will take me just a second to load. Because now I'm doing everything on a slow computer. Just a second. Another thing, though, there is something else that we can announce as well, because I just got the votes in today. We now have an artist for Englewood Peregrine as well.
Oh.
I'm going to turn off my camera real quick.
Okay.
Because I'm actually using OBS for the camera. But since I am not big braining it anymore, I'm going to turn that off so my computer runs a little quicker. There we go. Now everything should be improved. Oh yeah, it's running much smoother. This OBS, if you guys haven't seen my Twitch streams, they're pretty good quality, but it's kind of pushing my laptop to the limit. So, let's go ahead and pull these up real quick. Oh God, Armand fucking posted probably the most apt image. hate to say it, but there will be parts of Englewood that are kind of like that in the future. In fact, I could kind of talk about like what the future plans are. So, and then I can get Optimus's reactions to this.
Mhm.
So the names for the next two arcs. The next one after Born in Blood is called City of Assassins.
Oh,
which is where we go and have ninjas. So for those of you who liked the idea of the Saint fighting ninjas and kung fu dudes and stuff like that, that happens in City of Assassins. The plan is also to introduce another villain character named Black Mamba, but I haven't decided on whether or not that'll get introduced in that particular one or in a different one, because I'm still working on the outline. Then after that is another is an arc called 100 Tombstones. And that arc basically is going to be about, the funny thing is I've got the outline finalized for that one. That one's going to deal with a gang called the Vipers, which are the main gang of the Englewood area. And it goes without saying that that's going to be kind of the that like I'll just say it right now. Like the if Englewood was going to have a story that kind of is going to feel a little bit like Ninja Scroll, that's what City of Assassins will be. If Englewood is going to have a story that feels like a fucking whatchamacallit, who's the guy who directed Goodfellas?
Oh, So you got me now. Look it up. I'm trying to look up Goodfellas, and for some reason I started typing Mario Lopez. Like what the? Oh man.
It's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
So 100 Tombstones is going to be like more like a Scorsese flick.
Mhm.
Like that one's going to be like basically like a mob story. So here we go. So
just remember, Goodfellas directed by Mario Lopez, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. But here's the first 4 pages of the book. This is the aftermath of book 1. A lot of people are really liking this coloring style a lot more than the previous one.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like Armand is banned from using textures.
Oh, really?
So, because that was like the one review, because we did get some pretty positive reviews on the first book. And I definitely appreciate all the compliments for sure. But the one thing that we took every criticism to heart, and that was one thing that I pointed out to Armand, is like we cannot take shortcuts there. Like we gotta do everything. People are gonna be able to tell if it's pre-made or if it's something that you put together. So this is page 1, and basically the detective that you see next to Elijah, this is his closest friend Sean Dillard, also known as Shorty, as if his height wasn't a dead giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And to answer this question real quick, does Englewood exist in the same universe as Project Lazarus? Yes. And the same universe as Three Knights as well. And The First Servant. Like all of it's in the same universe, which means there's going to be some fucked up crazy shit that goes on in all these books. But we go onward, and after taking the report, Sean is doing his best to try to get Elijah his head in the game, at least so he can just get up. Because like I'm not going to spoil what the tragedy is in the first book, but what I will say is that it is fucking heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
It is pretty fucking terrible. And basically trying to reassure him, it's like, look, we're gonna find this guy. We're gonna get him. We're gonna bring him to justice. You don't need to worry, but the people need you to stand up. People need you to get up. People need you to be you. because you're Chicago's hero, you
Mhm.
know? Because at this point, he is basically the MMA Michael Jordan,
Mhm.
you know? And yes, hard-boiled, I am fully aware of this. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. So as it continues, they continue the conversation. Elijah's still not able to get his head on straight. And he actually tries to sit back down here. And Sean gets up on his fucking tippy toes to poke him in the chest. Like, you need to get your head on straight. You need to be a man. You know, you need to be able to trust him. You know.
Mhm.
So yes, there's also Kobe Bryant thinking, I can use Black Mamba without getting sued.
Guys, there's a snake called the Black Mamba. It's okay.
Yeah, like I'm
It
okay.
is not copyrighted in that way.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm okay. Yeah. Please stop. So, and then finally, after some time, we finally see the. Brian's gonna have to edit that. That gets way too small. But we finally see Elijah's father show up to get him home, basically.
Mhm.
So that is the opening of the book. Again, 66 pages. It's going to be pretty substantial. We should have it out by December, just in time for Christmas. I'm really looking forward to everybody getting it in their hands. It's going to be fucking awesome. So hopefully we'll pick up some more backers tonight. Like I said, we're at 93. I want to try to get to 100 by the end of the week. So if you have not backed the book yet, I mean, fuck, payday's tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let's continue onward with the second topic of the day. Mary Sue problem. Now, oddly enough, I'm not talking about the website. Though they do suck. They are fucking awful.
Mm-hmm.
We had a certain He-Man cartoon come out recently, called Masters of the Universe Revelation, done by Kevin Smith. And I did a video that actually ended up getting a decent amount of attention, which definitely is appreciated. I'll definitely have to do more stuff like that in the future. But the one thing that probably bothered me the most about it is that Kevin Smith, who can write women, and I will say this, some people just can't write women.
Nope.
They just can't. They cannot write women at all. Nope. And Kevin Smith is not one of those people. He knows what he's doing, or he should. Not to mention, this is a guy who has had several award-winning films. My favorite comedy of all time, which is the first Clerks film. You know. And then, of course, Dogma, which is a fucking awesome movie. He's done all these great... Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to write a good story. And he chose for Tila to suck, basically. He willingly, in my opinion, he willingly chose to turn her into a Mary Sue. He willingly chose to not give her any struggles that made sense. What little struggles she had, because there's barely any there. And he chose to basically be that she was, that certain things basically made her a deus ex machina.
Yep.
These are all things he said he just did.
Mm-hmm.
Without any consideration about whether or not it was actually going to be good. One thing that was really funny to me is like somebody says like, "Oh, she's going through the same journey that the main character of Dogma did." It made sense for the main character of Dogma to lose her fucking faith. It did not make sense for Tila to blame shit on magic.
Mm-mm. Considering she's been around magic her whole life, A. B, I point out once again, she's the daughter of the sorceress. If anything, that should have been the revelation that would have pissed her off more than anything, I would think.
Yeah.
By the way, you're the daughter of the sorceress, and also you're going to be the sorceress one day.
Yeah.
I could see her wanting to reject that. You know, I could see that as like, no, that you're not going to decide my life for me, kind of thing. You know,
Yeah. That would have made sense, but he didn't do that either.
No. No, we're gonna get mad at Adam for dying, and then I didn't know his secret, and like I think the meme was like, well, screw you and your son dying. You know, it's all about my feelings.
Yeah.
You know, and also don't get me started on her being called the Man at Arms. Get out of here. Get out of here. Just call her the Captain of the Guard, which is what she was. You know, like already. So
that's the weird thing. It's like I can understand like if her father's retiring or something like that. You know, she would be the qualified person for it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you're not. He did the show don't tell thing or tell don't show.
Yeah.
Which is a huge mistake. You don't do that. You know, it's the America Chavez mistake. You've got all these people trying to tell us that she's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need that. Like, okay, she's like her father's retiring. She's being promoted. That's the first part. They go to Castle Grayskull to defend it from Skeletor. She whoops Evil Lynn's ass, which she did.
Mm-hmm.
That ass whooping tells me a lot more about how badass she is than you trying to tell me that she's badass. Just show her doing it.
Yeah, it's like, do you remember the first Civil War, the comic?
Yes.
When it came out. Do you remember in the last issue, when Spider-Man turned, back to Cap's side?
Yeah.
After he, lost the Iron Spider armor and all that stuff.
Yeah, it goes back to the classic costume.
And of course, they're at this point, they're in the fight for their lives, and we all know that a focused and ready Spider-Man is a dangerous Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing he was whooping ass.
Reed Richards was literally in awe of him.
Yes, and that was the one thing. See, that was only a few words need to be said. I think he said amazing, and then spectacular, which ties into titles of Spider-Man's books. It makes so it's like a little nod here and there. I jokingly said, is Reed going to say web of next just for web of? But that's the thing. You show, like you said, show don't tell. There's no need for us to talk about how awesome Teela is. Teela can show us how awesome she is.
Yeah, it's just fucking stupid. It's like, it's sort of like, or another really good example is Namor. Mm-hmm. I don't need to tell you how awesome Namor is. He fought the Hulk to a standstill. Yeah.
And plus, Namor has no problem telling you how awesome he is.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
Yeah. But, that's kind of the thing with Namor. It's kind of like he's gonna. Not only is he awesome, he's gonna tell you how awesome he is.
He is fully aware of how awesome he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
hey guys, remember that time I drowned New York? That was cool.
Oh man,
got away from it too. Well, for that human android torch thingy. But no,
but that's the first issue, and then as it goes on, like Teela never struggles at all. Like the other characters struggle around her, and they're the interesting ones. Mm-hmm. Like the character that honestly steals the show is why am I forgetting his name?
Orca's
the best character. Orko, sorry.
Yeah.
Orko's awesome. Oh
yeah.
God. Wales is Renfamous here? No, I'm kidding. but
Nate from Guilty Gear Strive might be, so you better duck.
I just want to say that Xavier playing that is cancer. Xavier, just so you know, you're being cancer and you need to stop.
Dolphin, Mr. Whale.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Xavier.
Stop it. But anyway, but Orko steals the show because he's got a struggle. He's got problems. He's already in a place where his magic power is waning, and he has to actually confront his failures because Adam's not there for him to rely on anymore.
Yeah.
And
see, I think this is one of those things where I think they went into a wrong direction, right? And this is something that they tapped into in the 2002 series.
Mm-hmm.
They showed, this is the only time I think they showed when Orko came to Eternia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Orko was a badass magician. He was not somebody to be trifled with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he had this scepter, right? And during the battle that he was in when he came in, like basically he fell into between a battle of the masters and like I don't think it was Skeletor, but it was like some bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And Prince Adam was still a young kid, and and all that, and Cringer was just a cub and everything like that, and so he defended them, but then he lost the scepter, but in doing that, lost the connection to his true magical power,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was kind of the that's why he said he went from being one of the most powerful magic users in the universe to a court jester. And I said that would have been an interesting thing to tap into. Hey,
Yeah.
why don't we help Orko find the source of his true power, and then he could help us find this sword,
Yeah.
But no, we're gonna, like you said, we'll make him interesting. I mean, even Kevin Smith said it. We're gonna make him interesting, and then we're gonna kill him.
To be fair though, his sacrifice, like this is something that's interesting about it, is that this could have been a great story about accepting what it is to be a hero.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Because that's another thing. It's like, and the other thing is like the simple fact that they kind of barely hinted at it, but they didn't do it, was Teela having to deal with the fact that she just lost her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the whole blaming magic thing makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
It's like, I just lost my best friend. Technically, I lost two of them because I didn't realize they were the same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they just never let that happen. It's like, that's where it should go. That would make sense for her to be a broken person. Like, you lose your best friend, it breaks you when they die. It's just, that's something it's an inevitable thing. Every human being will go through it. There will be a point where our best friend passes away, and it will be the worst day of your life. And it's already happened to people I know. So I mean, like half the guys that I hung out with in high school are dead because they served during the war on terror.
Yeah.
So when it comes right down to it, like, trust me, losing a friend is awful, and it makes you reconsider your everything. It gives you an identity crisis because it's like, what do I do now? My friend's gone. They're never coming back. I can't do anything about that. That hurts. And that it's like, there's that. And then it's like, instead she blamed him for dying.
Mm-hmm.
He's He-Man. He's the fucking hero of the universe. He's the hero of Eternia. Like, that's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
He's supposed to take the risk. He's supposed to be the one who goes out and puts their life on the line. As somebody else who does the same fucking job, you should understand that.
Yeah.
Like, but she never, ever. Kevin Smith was afraid to do it.
And see, that was another thing that, once again, to the superiority of the reboot from 2002, right?
Yeah.
They did, if you remember, they did an episode where they showed King Grayskull.
Yeah.
And King Grayskull was a badass.
Yeah. King
Grayskull took down the Snake Men, The only problem is he didn't, he was going to have to deal with Hordak afterward.
Yeah.
And he was just not, it was one of those things. He sacrificed himself and gave up the power to the elders and everything like that so Eternia could survive.
Yeah.
So he could banish Hordak, right? And that would have been a good, obviously, that's what He-Man did in this series. It would have been like, he sacrificed himself so nobody else had to suffer.
Yeah.
Which is what a hero does.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I should also say, just because somebody's going to say something about the shaved head look.
Yeah.
I will agree with that, because here's the thing. This is the look they should have gone with.
That should have been the look throughout this whole series. The armor and everything else, whatever, that's fine. Her like taking on some different armor for Incognito and stuff like that. But
yeah,
the hair should have stayed just like that.
Yeah, and you want to know why? She looks like Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
you can be, and this is something that I also had, like the idea that you have to ugly up a woman to make her badass.
Mm-hmm.
That bugs the shit out of me.
Right.
You want to know who one of the most badass characters in comic books was that I had read in a while? That was a woman. Artemis from Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Yeah.
And let me find you a picture of Artemis. Because this woman, damn, not just how badass she was, she's pretty too.
Yeah. Artemis has never been a bad looking character, and this, she looks even better here.
Yeah, this is Dexter Soy's artwork, and he was the guy who primarily did Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me when I tell you guys, if you want to read one of the best comics that fucking DC has ever put out ever, read Dexter. It was Dexter. I don't remember who wrote it, but Red Hood and the Outlaws. Prior to Jason changing his costume, everything up to that point is fucking awesome.
And
Scott
also
Lobdell, that's it. Scott Lobdell, who was an X-Men writer. Well, it's still good afterwards. It's just Dexter Soy wasn't doing the art, so I didn't like it as much. Dexter's one of my favorite artists working today.
And I also want to point out for anybody who wants to check into Artemis, she's one of the few characters who legitimately beat Diana and took the title of Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's not to be trifled.
Yeah.
So,
but that's the thing. I'm of the opinion that if a woman is buff, that makes them less attractive. It depends on how you like. A lot of it actually has to do with outfit. What
and the shape and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She-Hulk, for example, the good She-Hulk, not the Hulk She-Hulk. Let me find a good picture of Shulky. Yeah.
Real quick, just as a good example.
Any John Byrne. Any of the John Byrnes would be good, but even though you think about it, when she debuted as Savage She-Hulk, she was not how they have her now.
No.
And when Savage She-Hulk, she was as dumb as a stump.
Oh yeah.
So the brick was, yeah. Well, it depends. I mean, it's hard to tell. I mean, if you put Hulk and She-Hulk together now, you would just think it's like Hulk wearing a different outfit.
Yeah. Here's
longer hair. So
here's a couple ones. She looks like a fitness model.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that because she looks strong.
Mm-hmm. Strong and see, that's another thing. Like especially when it comes to gamma radiated people, how they look physically does not really matter to their strength.
Yeah.
I mean, Doc Samson looks like a dude.
Yeah, he just looks like a normal, really buff guy.
Yeah, with green hair, but he's really, really strong.
He's as strong as the Thing. He's as strong as Ben Grimm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, getting back to the He-Man stuff, it's like, what did somebody say? I think it was just some guy. I was watching his video about it, and he said and then you got Tila's lesbian lesbian girlfriend, who's definitely not her lesbian girlfriend, but totally is.
And had to be a nerd because the team needed a nerd because this is Kevin Smith we're talking about.
Well, yeah. I think what what, and I say this as somebody who really likes robots. Man, why they got to do my boy Roboto like that? Come on,
Roboto was more human than fucking Tila was in this show.
That's bad, ain't it? That's terrible.
How are you more robotic than a fucking robot? How? I know how. You're a Mary Sue. And that's the problem.
How did you? And you got to think about this too. They took an established character in Tila and somehow turned her into a Mary Sue.
Yeah.
It's a character that actually had background and had failings and foibles and things like that, and somehow turned it into a Mary Sue.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, if you're a
writer, would it be safer? I was going to say, would it be safer to just call it a Mary Ray at this point? Because even Mary Sues have limits, right?
It definitely gets to the point. Because the thing, I'm just going to say this right now. If you're a writer, the one thing that, and this is my tidbit of wisdom, when it comes to, so for those of you out there who are writers who want to learn from a guy who's done it, you got to put your characters through some shit. You got to be willing to let them suffer. And I will say this because, again, like Optimus and I talked about earlier this week, I was hurting.
Yeah.
You got to put yourself in that, and it's going to fucking suck.
Yep.
But the story that comes out of it, if you have that talent, will be fucking phenomenal. Mm-hmm.
It's got to be. There's got, and like I said, I'm not saying like put struggles on. Like I've never agreed with like Joe Quesada saying, you know, like Spider-Man must be single. He has to struggle all the time. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, take Peregrine for example. Two of my favorite images from the comic are her getting smacked in the face by a robot and her getting thrown into a fucking car.
Yeah.
Why? Because it puts on that you ain't as good as you think you are, Pumpkin.
Oh yeah.
You have the potential to be that good.
But you got to
But you ain't there yet. You know, so that's and it's
and it's the thing. Same thing with the Saint. Like you like for anybody who reads the end of that first book, dude. Oh fuck.
Yeah. That's that one. The end of that book is a gut punch.
Yeah, and then like with Three Nights, the beginning of every chapter of it, you get punched. Like you like the minute you open the book, the first page you look at, you could tell the lead character has seen some shit. He's got that 1,000-yard stare, you know, because and he's got this book in his hands that it looks like the Necronomicon, and he's just fucked in his head. You could just see it, and a lot of that's because Preston is such a fucking good artist. But yeah, it's like that, and then I'm not going to spoil what the second chapter page is. Optimus has seen it. And that one kicks you in the dick. It's like, Jesus Christ, he had to do this. So when it comes right down to it, like you gotta, if you are not willing to let a character suffer or you're afraid to do it, you have lost your balls. You have you have to let these characters go through some shit. And the reason for that is because the one thing that makes a character relatable is is suffering. Yeah. And overcoming that suffering. And if you are unable to let them do that, then you will never, ever, ever really be a great writer. You'll never reach that potential. Like you look behind me, and you look at all the characters I have on the wall. You've got Guts, Beta Ray Bill, Venom, you can't really see him because of my fat head, and Thanos. Then you've got Spawn. Behind me, you've got all of those Gundams. Anybody who's seen Gundam Wing, you know those guys go through some shit. You know,
I can give a good example. You know, we talk about going through struggles. You know, like you said, that makes you a better hero in the end, right? Guys, even Goku gets his ass kicked, right? And that's a big deal because it's like, holy shit, Goku's getting his ass kicked. You're right. You know, he's the strongest fighter we got, and he's getting thrown around like he's nothing. So he has to go off and get stronger and get trained, and then come back and be the hero. You know. Yeah. So. Same thing. I mean, I think I saw your video the other day about One Piece outselling Batman. When you look at the timetable of that, that's amazing, right? But even in that, those characters in One Piece, I watched some, quite a bit of the anime when it was on Adult Swim. They would get their asses kicked. I mean, straight up. I mean, it was like they get totally destroyed, and then. The problem is, it's like one of those things. Like I said in Rambo: Last Blood, I said you should have killed him.
Yep.
If you've seen Rambo: Last Blood, you know which part I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And I said when they did what they did to him, I said y'all should have killed him. Y'all should have killed him. He's coming when he comes back. It's not going to be pretty.
No.
And it wasn't, and it was great.
Oh yes. He turned the Mexican cartel into giblets. It was.
Let's put it this way: my mom's not big on violent movies and stuff, but when she saw the part when he did the thing to that dude and was driving down the road and did the thing, she was like, "Yeah!" We were cheering it on. We were like, "Yeah, get his ass, John."
Oh, yeah. Exactly, and that's another thing. Rambo struggles a lot. Probably more than any war hero, like any action hero.
Yeah,
he's gone through some. Like you watch First Blood alone, where he actually doesn't kill anyone.
No,
oddly enough.
No, the one death was not even his fault. It was guy being stupid.
Yeah, because Art Galt is a cunt.
Yeah,
so he I'm of the opinion that was God. God's just like, beep.
Come on, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like when it comes right down to it, you if you don't let your character suffer, they don't develop, and that's the one thing that every person who reads it is going to identify with because we all suffer. we all have to overcome things. There's always obstacles in your path. There's always somebody who doesn't want you to get where you're going. There's always somebody who's going to stand there and wants to destroy you and doesn't want you to succeed and doesn't want anything good to happen to you. They want to see you fail because whatever reason. Maybe they're a pathetic waste of human space, or maybe they've got their own issues, or what the fuck ever. At the end of the day, what defines a character, what makes a character is exactly that. It's that struggle, it's that suffering, it's that ability to overcome. And if you don't overcome, if you let that suffering take over you, you become somebody like Thanos, you know. But that's what people really like them, or why people really like these characters. Why I like them. And Al Simmons over here, like everything with him is suffering. Like his existence is torture.
By the way, you got killed. You barely got to, you got killed, and your wife and all that stuff. You lost your wife. You lost all this. You lost all that. Well, by the way, now you got to serve hell.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, your powers are finite.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use your powers, you're just that much closer to just be permanently in hell.
Yeah, and to add to that, we're gonna have this short little clown just annoy the piss out of you all the time. And by the way, pull your mask off, have a look. You'll love it.
Yeah. Oh, and also the clown's gonna turn into a giant monster once in a while and fuck around with you.
Yeah.
Oh, and the boss might show up once in a while too, and just call you stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, come on, that existence really, like he is, like you said, it's nothing but suffering.
Yeah. Hardboiled actually makes a good point here. So what makes Steven Seagal movies so dull? Does he ever get hurt?
There was one movie he did. I say that because we used to watch a lot of them when I was growing up. Because his action movies is whatever.
The only movie I think I ever really liked of his was Exit Wounds. Exit Wounds is pretty good. The
one I like, it's going to sound stupid. The one I actually like of his is the Under Siege 2, Dark Territory, the one when they're on the train.
Really?
I know it's the worst one, right? But it's just so funny. And especially because you remember a few years ago when Ryback was a WWE superstar, and whenever there was a botch by Ryback, Botchmania would put that up, and they would put like Ryback's on. He's in the Donnie car, and the guy would go, "Oh, Ryback!"
Yeah. That is a weird. That I don't know if you've ever listened to his podcast. He's a weird dude.
Yeah, he is. He legitimately thinks he's the greatest thing that ever happened to wrestling since sliced bread. He really is.
I mean, he wasn't a bad big man. Like toward the end of his WWE run, he was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But he just did not, like, he couldn't get his ego out of the way.
I think you remember you ever hear what CM Punk said to him, right?
You're dumb as fuck.
No. What it was 2 nights in a row that he did the same botch. Drop Punk right on his head, right? And Punk finally went to him. He said, "Look, you're either dumb as fuck or you're doing it on purpose. Now, which is it?"
Yeah,
and he said, Ryback puts his head down. He's like, "I'm dumb as fuck."
Yeah. But yeah, it's like that's also why people hated John Cena.
Yeah,
for the longest time. John Cena was a Gary Stu.
Yeah. Dude, was it Survivor Series where he just took out the entire Nexus?
Yeah,
by himself. Everybody else was
on the fucking concrete.
Everybody else was eliminated. His whole team was gone, and he took out the entire. And Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, all those guys were backstage stuff. They were telling him, "This is a bad idea. You're going to ruin these guys."
Yeah,
they'll never be. It was
Jericho and Edge.
Yeah, it was Jericho and Edge. Yeah. They were all telling him, like, "Dude, this is not going to be good. You're going to ruin their careers."
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened to Wade Barrett after that.
Oh, yeah.
He never recovered. Wade Barrett was on tap to be a freaking world champion.
Oh, yeah.
And then look what happened. So
apparently, like, that's now John's biggest regret ever. But,
yeah, I think I believe I heard that he said that's something he should have done.
Yeah. Yeah. But when it comes right down to it, like there really is no there's no excuse for it. Because the big thing about this is, like, Kevin Smith, of all people, should know not to write a Mary Sue.
Right.
He should know a lot better.
Considering considering the movies he's written,
Yeah.
that basically makes fun of things like that.
Yeah.
And B, the project he was almost involved in with Superman, that he had to walk away from because remember originally their idea was like, let's do a Superman movie without Superman.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that's fucking stupid. You know? The guy hinges his whole career on people not adhering to source material, and then he doesn't adhere to source material. That's what's hilarious about the whole thing.
And then the real kicker for me, at least, is the this is the guy who wrote Chasing Amy,
right?
Like, shit, like that alone, like he knows how to write women. He knows what to do.
Yeah.
And at that point, it is blatant that you're not doing it. It's blatant that you're not doing it. And I wonder if Art Thibert hates Chasing Amy because it constantly mocks inkers, and he's like the best at it ever.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, Art's an amazing artist in general, but still.
The whole inker and tracer. Yeah.
So when it comes right down to it, like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, man, you really are you're making this problem. You're constantly doing this shit that will, you cannot whatsoever recover from this. I don't think. Like, people are going to hate you forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kills me. It's like, man, you had an opportunity. There was potential there.
Yeah. And
he just threw it out the fucking window because he thought he would get some head pats. And sorry, man, those head pats aren't going to bring your fans back. Gojira says here, there was some info that indicates one of the big decision makers on the show is an SJW activist. This was theoretically out of Smith's control.
I don't buy that simply because of the Comic-Con panel.
Yeah, I don't either. Like,
because he basically said that Mattel gave him a free reign and a check.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't buy that.
All right. Sorry, Serena. Streamlabs aren't showing up, so give me a second to read this. Because I had to switch things because the computer was being fuzzy, and I don't like that. It says, are any of us free later? Need someone to help me with calculating finances. Not sure if I did it right. Also, I agree with you, Micah, on making characters suffer. Her protagonist gets put through hell in the story. Well, yeah, and that's the way you should do it. Mm-hmm. That is the way you should do it.
And I want to also throw this out to Serena because I was saying this to her the other day. Just want her to hear my words on this one. Because we went through, as you know, in the Discord, we went through the whole "I am not Starfire."
Yeah,
that's a whole other thing. But
holy shit. Guys, if you want a breakdown of I Am Not Starfire, you need to watch the last episode of Grade Point 5. Like, fucking seriously. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's
they
bad.
Somehow made... I'll just say this, guys. I think Michael will agree. They somehow took the character design and by the end made it worse.
Oh, yeah.
Made it worse. But anyway.
Everybody seemed to like my name for the character.
Yeah, what was it again?
Dollar Tree Fat Vegeta.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because like it was Tofu who pointed out. It's like, is she wearing Saiyan armor? She's totally wearing Saiyan armor.
Yeah. I lost it. I'm like,
yeah.
You buddy, fucking kidding me?
Yeah, but Serena, I just want to say, because you mentioned this, when we were talking about it, when you see somebody do a trope in a book, and then that book's full of trope, bad trope, really bad trope, but it's still trope, and you see in your writing that you might have been doing some of the same things, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
The fact that you recognize it and you see it could be a problem, that means you're going to fix it and everything's going to be fine.
Exactly. It's the people that don't realize it's a problem that end up fucking everything up.
Yeah. Because I'm going to guarantee you that Mariko Tamaki sent that book to her mother. And it wasn't a, hey, Mom, look at this new book I wrote. It's like, hey, Mom, look at this. And then in whisper tone, this is what I really think about you.
Yeah.
It's classic that she has problems with her parents.
Oh, yeah. And
yeah, go ahead.
The funny thing about it is that, like, all those stories that are like that, they really come across like the parents were just being parents and the kids are just assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, from what I was seeing, like, Starfire was not a bad mom.
No.
At all.
Mm-mm.
Like, it's ridiculous.
You look at what Starfire was doing versus the way that the character was, the Fat Vegeta was portraying it. You would think that like Starfire was the most abusive person in the world.
Oh yeah.
And of course, I made a point out, in your Discord when we were talking about that. I says, for one thing, because she said something about like the superhero community is so insulated and small. I'm like, yeah, okay, that means that the child of a superhero, if they were being abused, would not stand.
No.
I said, and I'm going to give you two very good reasons why it wouldn't. Superman, Batman.
Yeah.
They're going to know.
Yeah.
And when they find out, it's not going to be pretty.
No. The another good example, different universe in Marvel.
Right.
Thor saying to Hank Pym, "Did you strike the lady?" When you read those words, you question how Hank Pym is not dead.
Yeah.
Because Thor would have killed him if Cap and Iron Man were not there. And even then, they couldn't stop him. He just trusts them. Yeah. So there was nobody in that room that could have stopped. The only person that could have held him back was Wonder Man.
Right.
And no, Herc was there too. They could have held him back, but Thor would have still destroyed the whole mansion trying to kill Hank Pym.
Yeah.
Like...
Did you strike the lady? I think that's not... After you've done something like that and you hear the God of Thunder ask you that, you're like... I'm gonna shrink into the quantum zone now. I'm getting
the fuck out of here.
Yeah, the quantum realm. Getting lost in the quantum realm doesn't sound so bad right now. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah. Son of the Dragon says, "Do we ever find out who the father is? Because I want to know how Starfire gave birth to that." No. My theory was that Batman cucked Dick Grayson in that universe, which is why she's so brooding. But
I kind of like what Ethan said the other day, that it's Oswald Cobblepot.
I said, no.
I said, so basically Starfire gave him a pity pump, and
oh no.
Apparently he has good swimmers, so we're going to leave it at that.
Oh no, that's bad. But yeah, like that's another example. That's like bad struggle. Like,
yeah,
like they're actually not struggling at all. The writer just doesn't know what struggling is, which is becoming more and more apparent these days. It's like some of these writers have actually never had a bad day in their life, or what they call a bad day is like a meh day for you and me.
Right.
It's like, the day could have gone better. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, fuck me, dude. Like. I still am of the opinion, like, I need to, like, some of these people need to be strapped to a chair in a cold room, in a cold, dark room, and they have to watch the last episode of Berserk. Which is the Eclipse.
Well, another thing, and I think I pointed out in my, when we talked about Ungraded in that book, it was that when her powers manifested, she was suddenly awesome.
Yeah.
I know how to use my powers. I'm more powerful than Blackfire, who we had exposition earlier saying, Starfire even saying, Blackfire is more powerful than I am. There is no way, if we assume that, Mandy was a half human, half Tamarin, right, that she would be more powerful than Blackfire in any reality.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, I pointed out that she totally did, Dragon Ball Z, like, that would, then I showed an example of how you could do it better, and use gargoyles, for example. I even used in your Discord, I used Avatar: The Last Airbender as an example. Aang has the ability to become a really awesome badass early on in the show. Unfortunately, he loses all control.
Yeah,
and he can't tell friend from foe. So that was a drawback. That's something that there was, it was a weakness in him, and he had to learn to control it. This character is never going to have those weaknesses. If they ever do another book about this, she's just going to be awesome. That's what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, and it'll be a Mary Sue.
And everything, and of course, you notice like after that point, everything went right for her after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, everything's fine. I got superpowers. All my friends love me. I got my lesbian girlfriend now. It's all great.
Yeah.
Now get out of here.
Oh man, alive. Back Englewood, folks.
Yes.
Like seriously, like that is like God.
That's Miguel has a good question for you.
I don't know.
In an alternate reality, in the Kingdom Come reality, yes. And her name is Mari, and she is the daughter of Starfire and Dick Grayson. She was named Black Star, and she was awesome. That would have been a character I could have understood having some resentment for her mother, because in that reality, Starfire went on a mission and never came back.
Yeah.
So I could see some resentment for your mother at that point. Oh, it was Night Star, I think.
Something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah. Either way, she was a cool character.
I'm just gonna put that right there.
Yeah, put that right in the middle. Yeah.
Oh yeah. God damn, that cover is so good. Scotsman, by the way, I think this really highlighted how good of a colorist he is.
Yeah.
Like it looks so clean, looks so good.
Mm-hmm. You could tell that it's funny because you can tell like the hat and the shirt and everything, they're supposed to be bright colors.
Yeah.
But they're muted enough that it's dark.
Oh yeah. Scotsman's, like, for those who don't know, Scotsman's knowledge of color theory is next level.
Oh yeah.
Like he could teach people quite easily how to color very well. Like he's fucking phenomenal at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Armand and Brian are putting in some really good work here.
Yep.
So yeah, if you guys have not backed it yet, pick it up. Seriously. Like it's, if we got one more backer during this stream, I would be happy. And we're going to go a little bit longer. We're going to do Q&A. But we do have something to announce, Optimus and I, because the votes finally came in today on what's going to be going on. And then I got to send the artist reference here soon. But obviously we're hopefully going to try to put Englewood Peregrine on Indiegogo by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That is the goal. If not early next year.
Yeah. End of this year, early next year, one or the other.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we actually have an artist for that book, because obviously Brian and Armand will be doing Englewood stuff, and Doug Franchen will be doing Peregrine stuff. They're going to be working on those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be what they're doing. So we need to find an artist who's going to be able to take this on. And he just agreed to do it today. The votes just came in, because Optimus already said yes last week. I had to just get a yes from Xavier, yes from Piper, and we're good. And Raphael Chestrani is going to be our artist for the Englewood Peregrine crossover, just to show you a little bit of his work. He's currently doing a book called Murder Weapon, which I saw the art for. And
he could do sexy.
Yes.
And he could do werewolf, so Piper will like that. Join the community, Micah. Come on.
I refuse. Actually, wait. And right here, this is we've already said that we want to have Farrah Nurmalisa, who did the colors for Peregrine, to do the colors on this crossover. Mm-hmm. And this is Farrah's colors on his art. He nailed it. This is actually a cover that Raphael did for our for SOS from our why am I forgetting his name? Chimera.
Yeah, Chimera.
For our buddy Chimera.
Or is that a post called him Chimera?
Yeah. But this is the cover for SOS that he did. So he's already worked with Farrah. So we just got to talk to Farrah about it now too. And then because that's obviously a yes from all of us. Because I have not worked with Farrah yet, but I love her work. but but Optimus and Xavier and Piper have worked with her.
Yeah.
So,
just got to realize, there's a slight language barrier, but
yeah. Well, they're both from Brazil, I think.
No, she's from Indonesia.
Oh, she's from Indonesia. Yeah. But Raphael's from Brazil.
Yeah. But the fact that he's already worked with her too, that means there'll be some communication already with them. So
yeah.
It's kind of funny that she's worked with 2 artists from Brazil, because Doug's from Brazil too.
Yeah. So when it comes right down to it, I think we've picked a really talented artist for this. I'm really excited to have him as part of it. I'm going to send him references for the characters probably tonight or tomorrow. And, just hopefully we will have, once he's done with his current stuff, then we'll go ahead and get him started on pages. Because like a lot of the concepts are done. I'm just going to wait for Preston to do the sketch for Tash, and because he's the big bad, and him and Papa Yubio. So Serena sent another thing. She says, "Thanks for the kind words, Optimus. When the book comes out, I want you guys to criticize it as much as possible. Trust your words when it comes to writing. Desire to improve as much as possible. I don't want to end up being a hack writer." Well, that's the fear every writer has. But you're listening to people who know what they're doing, so don't worry too much. Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of criticism. There is such a thing. There is a fine line between criticism and just being mean. But you'll know when somebody's just looking at your work and just being mean. So don't worry about those people.
Because like I said, there's always going to be people who just want to dig at you, and like that happens to me too. Like I'm very familiar with it.
You'll get people who will probably not like your stuff just because you're friends with Micah.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Same. It could be same for us. I mean, I know John De La Rose does not like me because I told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's yelling into the void because I got him blocked, and whatever. It's like, you can say what you want. I don't care anymore. But that's the thing. There's a difference between constructive criticism. Which Micah and and myself and different people take that into consideration, and we try to make that a better product next time.
Exactly.
And if in some cases, even if you're doing a re-release, you try to improve it there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at Mandy Summers, for example. I'll use her for an example. She put out Ward the Wizard. That's all. The original Ward the Wizard was all her art. Everything she did the coloring, she did the lettering, everything. The one criticism that people had about the book was the art. And she said, fair enough, I'm not that great of an artist, which I think she did fine, for what she did,
Yeah.
But when she did Wart the Wizard 2, she's re-releasing Wart 1 with Peter Gilmore's art.
Yeah.
So she's rectifying the one problem that people had with the original. It's like, if you find a mistake in, let's say there was a page in Englewood, which use for an example, there was a page in Englewood that had a mistake in it.
Yeah.
And somebody pointed it out. Well, if you could do a reprint of it later on, you could say, hey, Armand and Brian, can you fix this real quick?
Yeah.
Fix that and then reprint it.
Yeah.
So
which that's one thing that we're hoping to do if we hit 30K by the time it's released, is to have Armand. He's already started remastering some of the colors.
Mm-hmm.
So, and pulling out those textures that he put in and actually making ones himself.
Like doing like an actual remaster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
that'd be cool if you could hit that goal. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's going to take time, but I'm pretty confident that this book, no matter what, is going to get funded. It's just it's just not easy. I will freely admit that there's 2 things that are standing in my way. I really do need to improve goodwill with some people.
Yeah,
and that's been something that I've been trying to do. And it was something that I realized before the book went on Indiegogo. It's like, because I made some changes in life, and I realized that a lot of people hated me because of things that I had done defending other people that they could have just defended. Yeah. Well, I would just say they should have been defending themselves.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And the the cool thing is I've noticed that we've been seeing more people in Sleeveless Comics shows and just in general who are coming back and realizing it's like, hey, this Micah's back to his old self, which I do really feel like I am.
You seemed a lot more like you, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when it comes right down to it, I'm just not the type. I I want people to buy my comics. The other thing that's also been another thing that has worked against me is the fact that Three Nights isn't completely fulfilled yet.
Yeah.
And like, if the worst happens, if Englewood Book 2 does not get the funding that it needs, or it doesn't get the funding that we set, I'll just restart the campaign and then put the dollar amount that it needs, and it'll probably get get funded. So, and I'll just put an update on it and be like, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna redo this. We're gonna set the funding goal a little bit lower. So if you backed it, go ahead and reback it, and then it'll probably get funded really quickly. So,
no one likes Scroll, Micah.
Yeah, no, not really. I definitely pissed a lot of people off that I didn't want to. That in hindsight, I really shouldn't have. So,
but he thought he was doing the right thing. But
yeah,
it's one thing when you think you're doing the right thing. It's another thing when the thing you think you're doing is appreciated, and it wasn't in the long run. So.
It's just one of those things, man, where you kind of realize, like, what I started to look at was a lot of other guys out there that are my peers that are doing as well as they are, and a lot of it that I noticed is that they weren't as, they weren't getting in fights all the time like I was. And I'm
antagonistic, I guess, is the best way to.
Yeah. And the thing about it is like, generally speaking, like, whenever I'm antagonistic towards something, I want it to be just a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. It needs to be against a bad idea, like, or against a person that legitimately is doing bad stuff, like Edwin.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Edwin Boyette is a good person. If that's not obvious.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good person at all.
I mean, I would go to. I mean, just like I said, just after looking at how he's rebranded his channel, like, I mean, can you say grift? I mean, it's just trying different things to try to catch on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've always loved writing. The fact that I get to do it now professionally is awesome. But anyway.
I mean, and it's gonna sound weird when I'm just gonna put myself in there. Obviously, I have great ideas. My thing is, and I guess it's just a block that I've had ever since, the one story I told you about that I wrote, and it, just lost everything. It's just been a block of putting it down on paper. So I can come up with ideas all day long. It's just, as far as writing them, I can pay somebody to do that. You know what I mean? At this point. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing, it still gives me an outlet for my creative endeavor.
Yeah.
So
let's go ahead and move into Q&A.
Yeah.
Because I really feel like we're kind of at that point where everybody's asking questions anyway.
Right.
So let's go ahead and go from here. Sister Peck says, can people buy more 3 Nights, 4 Days if they want to? Well, the campaign's closed. We're not looking to reopen it. We're after we finish fulfillment, let me actually get the specifics from Preston here, because he DM'd me these on when he's going to be ready to start. Because it's going to be sooner than I thought. He says, let's let it stew for a month or two, then we'll start on some promo art and a cover for issue 2. So probably in the fall is when we're going to start production on it. So that's a lot quicker than I thought it was going to. And then it'll come out sometime next year. And then on that, we will have, you'll be able to buy the first part too.
Now, will this I'll ask the question that would be asked next. When you do when you can get part 1 and part 2, is it going to just be what was left over from what you did printed from part 1, or are you going to do another run with a different cover or something?
I think that we might, if we have to, because we did overprint pretty significantly this time. If we have to, we'll overprint, or we could always print more of the standard cover. Okay. Like the Vinny cover, the black and white cover, or the Virgin cover, we're not reprinting those ever.
Right. So those are first runs.
Yeah. So anytime that I have something up, just for you, so you guys know, as a mailing list thing, those don't get reprinted. You're getting the chance to get something that nobody else is going to get ever.
Right.
So don't sleep on the fucking mailing list.
Yeah.
So, but let's see here. So that would be the opportunity to get it if you want to. And then another thing that we've been talking about is possibly doing a prequel story next year with those characters and adding it, and then doing a hardcover 3 Nights 4 Days complete edition.
So prequel, book 1, book 2.
Yeah, and then offer also a black and white one where Oliver goes and inks over Preston's work instead of just coloring it, and makes it all not quite kind of manga-ish, but it would still read left to right.
Yeah.
So the reason that would be a different separate campaign is Eric Weathers would have to re-letter the whole book because all the letters are very I can't just the thing if we re-letter all of 3 Nights 4 Days, the problem with it is that we would all the thought dialogue boxes, they are color coded for each night and each character, so we cannot just turn them black and white because then you're never going to know who's talking. So we can't do that. We have to go back and
you could kind of gimmick that a little bit too. You could say almost black and white.
Yeah, there's little things we could do.
And also, this is something I remember I gave Simon this idea for Blood Hunt for an edition later on, and he kind of played around with the pages. Is what we call black, white, and red. If you get what you see where I'm going with this. Yeah,
I love that. That's a great idea for vampire stories.
Yeah, exactly. So.
I thought about doing something similar with the First Servant, but Bogdan's colors are so good. I don't want to.
Oh yeah. Don't mess with. If somebody's good at color, don't let them ride.
Yeah. Bogdan is ridiculously talented. He is. He can do everything. I've seen him just ink over stuff. His inks are great. And another person who's getting really, really good is fucking Lidl.
Yeah.
Her colors and her inks. She's a natural inker. She read one book on inking. One! And the inks that she threw down were awesome. And she posted in the graded Discord. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you this good at reading one fucking book?
Very attentive. She's very attentive for what she does.
And her pencils continue to get better. She did my favorite piece of Peregrine fan art.
Yeah.
I want her to do stuff like fan art for Englewood Peregrine. It's seriously.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I will say for Midnight Cowboy, she's wanting, and this is something because this is not something because we're kind of we want you to do this, Lidl. We want you to be the colorist. And she says, now give me a few pages and let me try it out and tell me what you think, and then we'll talk about it. I'm like, wow, we actually have the person we're trying to hire. Now just wait a minute.
So.
Because I've seen what she can do. I'm already impressed. Obviously you want to see if she can do it with the style that you want.
Yeah.
But I think she's always been good at impressing me. I think she's good at when it comes to coloring styles. At, being. I'm trying to think of the word and I can't even get it out.
She's versatile.
Versatile. Thank you. That's the word. We learned a new word today on Sesame Street. Versatile. But yeah. Don't sleep on Lidl. She's an up and comer, and she's going to be huge.
Yeah,
at some point.
Son of the Dragon says, "I'm trying to start production on my own story set in Greek myth, and the main character is the half-blood son of Hades." Not really a question, but let me just say this: any concept can work. It's all about execution.
That's right.
So, this is just appreciated. Thank you, Chunky. Let's see here. Have we seen Rambo's ending from MK11? Nope. I have not. So I got so burnt out on that game that just
I do like his intro stuff though, for between fights.
Oh yeah.
I think there was one where I forgot who he was talking to. I think he was talking to it was Melina. And Melina was doing, he said something like, I heard you're an assassin or something like that. And then she said something about, yes, and I eat their but actually eating the people, Yeah. It just zooms in on John. He goes, that's fucked up.
This is good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Waistcoat says, is there any sort of guide for an artist to figure out how they can charge in terms of page rates? Do you pay artists in installments? So the big thing is that you page rates are negotiated.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this. What a lot of artists do when they're starting out is they charge around $70, $80 a page for pencils, like inks, and then inks or more.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just tack on like the more stuff they want you to do. That's the average. How I like whenever people, usually what people will do is they will send an invoice at the end of the week of everything they got done and was approved. And then that's how they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's how it's always worked with me, is that my artists send me an invoice. I go kick Hatman. Hatman pays them the money. So,
because Hatman is property, is not people. But and that's in my experience the same way. Like with Doug, we negotiated a rate, and we decided, okay, you do X pages, then I pay you.
Yep.
And then, you do X pages and I pay. So we had a set allotment of how many pages would get done and then the payment. And trust me, from my experience, and this is just from doing this and doing, business and plumbing and things like that, you get more results from payment, incremental payment like that than you would trying to pay them up front. Never pay somebody up front. Ever, because then they don't think they're on a timeline, and then they can just do it when they want to.
Yeah.
A lot of our friends have gotten in trouble with us, stuff like that. There's one particular project that made, and you know which one I'm talking about, Micah, made a lot of money, and it's still waiting for it because the artist got paid, and then he went and did other things, and then, so, and we've talked about it here before, so, it's not hard to figure out, but that's why you never pay up front. You negotiate, like you said, negotiate a rate. If you want to do it in bulks of pages, or like you said, if they do 10 pages this week, okay, then I'm paying you for 10 pages this week. Okay, the next week they did 5 pages. Okay, I'm paying you for the 5 pages.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do it like in bulk, in a set bulk, like, okay, these 12 pages, then I pay you, kind of thing. You negotiate that, and you get a contract. Get a contract. Yeah. Everybody agrees. Everybody signs. We're all good.
Yep. And it's the same thing like with anybody that I've ever worked with. There's always the negotiations, and then from there, you just go with it. And I'm of the opinion that as you get better and as your experience grows and your name grows, then you can charge more. Because some artists that I've worked with are more expensive than others, but it's because they're that fucking good.
They're worth it.
And yeah, and they've got a name. Like the fact that I'm even working with them sells books. Mm-hmm. The fact that I was working with Preston Acevedo.
Yeah.
Just that alone, my name attached to his name sold books. It was like, ooh, I like Preston's art. Ooh, I like Micah. It's like, bam, here's money.
Match made in heaven.
Exactly. Yeah. And Preston's was already known as an artist. Brian is a great artist, but he's not very well known because he's known for being like the tech guy for the Honey Badgers. He's not known for being an artist.
Yeah.
So have a good night, Mata. And Gabe Jin's taking off. You have a good night too, buddy. So yeah, when it comes right down to it, like that is that's basically just how it goes.
Yeah.
What else you guys got for us?
Yeah. Kind of looking back to see if there's anything good. Because there were some questions going off while we were,
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Take it you have money saved up for before you start production, because if you can't get money from Indiegogo in demand, yeesh. There's a reason that when I start a crowdfund at the start of a campaign, like at the start of production, it's because I need the money to make it happen.
Yeah.
But some people have the money to pay up front for everything, and they'll have the book halfway done or done by the time that the Indiegogo starts. It just depends. I mean, I'm just not I'm not that wealthy of a guy.
Yeah, it's one of the, and I'll put it like this. We did what we did was we had the cover and the first 5 pages. Well, not even the first 5 pages. The 5 best pages we thought would be good to show off. Now, the one mistake that we made was not having them in color because that question kept coming up. We should have waited a little longer and gotten them colored. But that won't be an issue next time. That's just, growing pains. You know how it is.
Yeah.
But and that was kind of like everyone you pull money pooled together and stuff like, because there's 4 people involved with Peregrine as far as the creation and stuff like that. So you got to look at it like that. You don't need to pay for everything up front. You get your artists, you get them nailed down, and you say, okay, what's your thing? Okay, now you know what your artist. Okay, check mark. You know how much you need for your artist. Okay, you get your colorist. Check mark. You know how much you need for your colorist. Letterer. How much is Eric charging? That's I might as well say that because I know a lot of people who were trying to either do the lettering themselves, or they were getting somebody else who was trying to lettering, and they said, this isn't working out. I'm just going to go hire Eric. And they said in the end, it was still cheaper than, even after trying to do it themselves or getting somebody else to do it, it was still cheaper to get Eric to do it.
Yeah. Like there's 2 good art letterers in Comicsgate that I know of, and and there might be more. I just don't know them.
Yeah.
Eric is one of them. Oliver from 656, who did colors on 3 Nights, is also a really good letterer.
Yeah.
So Oliver would have done the letters on it, but on 3 Nights. But Eric basically is like, Micah, please let me do this. I have so many good ideas.
Yeah.
And like he begged to do it, and I'm like, dude. Like, you did awesome on Englewood. I can't tell you no.
Yeah.
So,
and on top of that, Eric is like, bam, like in a day, you got your lettered pages.
Yeah. And then if adjustments have to be made or things like that, he doesn't charge you extra for that.
No, he doesn't. And it's like, and trust me, there were some adjustments that need to be made because I don't know how. And I'm, this is one of those, like, if you ever make the DVD commentary for a book, this would be part of the DVD commentary. Somehow, I don't know how Eric got a version 2 of the script instead of the final version of the script. And when I got the letters back, oh, good, the letters are back. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, no. I said, oh, this is when Scott still had her cussing like a sailor. And, and I'm like, immediately went to Xavier and Piper. I was like, this needs to be fixed right now. And so, apparently, one night I couldn't be there because with things going on with my parents and stuff. But Xavier and Piper and Mike all got together, went through the entire thing, and I told them, I said, all we have to do is tell him what to correct because he's already pretty much got it done. He just needs to put the right words in there, right? And that's all he did. He just went through panel, page 6, panel 2, this to that, and he did it. In a day, he was done. So. That's a good, and he's very professional, does it very quickly. So
yeah. So let's see here. How to do a story of both sci-fi and fantasy. So I have never written a combination. What I would say is look at those who have already done it well. In my opinion, if Xavier was here, the one that he would recommend is Or Battle or Dunbine. Because that's written by Yoshiyuki Tamino, who also did Gundam.
I would also suggest if you're going to do sci-fi, and it depends on which version of fantasy you want to use. If you're using dark fantasy, you're going to go with more steampunk, I think, kind of sci-fi. If you're going high fantasy, you can go high sci-fi. Kind of like, because you can use. I've always said like high fantasy and something like Star Trek could work really well.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, if you look at like something like Next Gen and stuff, like they kind of did stuff. I mean, even Deep Space Nine, you had the fantasy, the prophets, and magic and all that stuff. So the wormhole aliens. But it just depends on which version you want to get, and you got to figure out where you're going to go. If it's going to be more dark, then mold that sci-fi to that fantasy, and vice versa. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, it did. And
okay.
Hardboiled actually makes a good point. Star Wars is sci-fi and fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, sci-fi, you got spaceships and, laser pistols and stuff. But you also got this, like...
Psychic wizards.
You got psychic wizards that, fight with only lightsabers,
Yeah. Here's a good question. Will Englewood 2 have more detailed pics of really good Chicago foods like deep dish pizza and Chicago-style coney dogs? So there is a argument over food, oddly enough, in it. And it does it right. It's not just fucking like talk about girlfriends. It's actually them talking about Elijah is going to go like start a one-man war against a bunch of fucking gangs, and he's casually talking about it while eating a pizza.
He says, yeah, he's like, he calls, you know, with his friend, what did you say his name was? Shorty, the cop. He calls him on the phone while he's taking a shit. He's like, hey. Because that's how Marvel would do it, right?
But no, like that, yes, there will be pizza. You also have to understand, like, pizza is my favorite food. So it's going to make an appearance. I found a way to
Chicago
eat pizza.
Deep dish is crap, right? Like,
well, I found a way to like eat pizza on keto, for fuck's sake. Like, that's how much I like pizza.
Yeah. I remember wasn't there like a little period where we thought we were going to have to excommunicate you for your pineapple pizza?
Look, there's only one that I enjoy, and it's from Little Caesars of all places.
That's what's ironic about it. The best one you've ever had is from Little Caesars.
Yeah.
The cheapest place to get pizza is the best pineapple. And I've had, and you know, I shouldn't say I've had because I would never do that because it's disgusting. But but I have seen like I've always heard that a Hawaiian done right is done good. You know, it's really good. But a Hawaiian done wrong is really wrong. Like, because, you know, there's such a thing. You can overcook pineapple. And if you overcook pineapple, it's basically candy.
Yeah.
And you don't want that on your pizza at all. So
no. Like the Hawaiian that I had from like fucking Papa John's, I did this stream it with Cal Jameson and before Cal Jameson threatened everybody who wanted to work with Rob Willis and Von Klaus, and we were talking writing and stuff like that. And the goal was like to get me to the International Conference for Men's Issues. I needed to raise like a couple $100, and then fucking RGE just pays for it, and he's like, "Eat the pineapple pizza, motherfucker." And that was so I ordered it from Papa John's. Mm-hmm. Woof.
You said that make you sick, didn't it? Like,
I about threw up on stream. It was really bad. Like Cal was like, "Micah, are you okay?" He's like, "Are you all right, dude?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. Fuck." Okay. So yeah. That one was bad. But the thing about it is that to get it right, there has to be, it's the sauce. If the sauce is sweet, your pizza sauce is sweet, it fucks up everything because then the whole thing is too sweet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and that was the problem. It was so sweet it made me want to yak. But Little Caesars, they put a bunch of oregano and salt in their fucking sauce. Which that's how I prefer.
So you get sweet and savory, so it can actually work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The balance was perfect, and the ham is salted too.
A little OT real quick. When you mentioned too sweet, it reminded me. I saw a clip. You know, it's like funny how sometimes you get these recommends in your YouTube videos. You know, and the recommend with that was when the Giant joined the NWO, right? Mm-hmm. And later on, if you remember, we get to witness the most painful promo I've ever seen in my life, where he's trying to explain why he became NWO, and he talked about he went to Hulk Hogan's house and all the motorcycles and the Ferraris and the Vipers but the thing is, it's like they were still trying to put the show on. So, you know, the wrestlers were trying to come out and stop him. And so they stopped and they go beat up like WCW, and he comes back and keeps trying to do the promo. And then Hogan, I guess because he got the cue, you know, like we're going off the air, he just tips the desk over, and then the Giant takes the headset and just throws it on the ground. But he was still trying to do the promo.
Yeah.
It's like, poor guy.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know he was like 21, 22.
Yeah, he was a young dude. It's so amazing how young he was when he got started.
I know.
You know,
here's another one. As far as it too far in making up science-sounding words to explain things.
Star Trek did that the entire time they were on the air.
Yeah, and nobody knew better. I will freely admit, because like part of the benefit of like working in like having your stories take place in a more modern day is I can just look up cool shit and use that. Like the concept for the Saint's armor, why it's bulletproof. I looked up the concept of metal foam, which you look it up, it's fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. Like they used it during the War on Terror for new like armor for vehicles, and it like fully absorbs bullet impact. And then there's a coating that you can put on it called anti-fragmentation coating that stops the fragments from spreading and hitting soldiers on the ricochet. And I'm like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah.
The problem is there's no shock absorption. So basically, the Saint can get shot in the armor plating, and I'll actually pull it up here. The name of his suit is actually called the anti-ballistic impact suit. Which the .80 is the one that Omega wears.
Right.
But let me find a good Englewood image. Here's his turnaround. So let me zoom in a little bit. So the armor plating here and on the forearms, on the legs, on the feet, like this sort of stuff. This is all that metal foam. And then underneath it, how did I describe it? Let me grab my Englewood book. It's so nice to have an actual physical copy right here. How did I describe this? I did a shit ton of research into it, and I always forget. Okay. Undersheath. Body chute dipped in a non-Newtonian fluid, which hardens on impact. Comparable to Kevlar, but lighter and less hot to wear. So that's what I looked up is non-Newtonian fluid. Basically what it is, it's a natural shock absorber. So basically what happens is that a bullet will, there is a point where he gets shot in the book with a 12 gauge, point blank range, which normally would cut a man in half. And he gets fucked up from it, but he's able to get up because all this metal here, the metal foam, and that the black that's painted over it, that's the coating. And then the undersheath underneath it absorbs everything, keeps the bullets from coming through. So I use like modern tech in my stuff. Here's another good image.
If anybody's wondering, non-Newtonian fluid, you can actually make that at home.
Yep.
It's not. It's not, and it's because the reason I know that is because I've seen a lot of people like play around with it on YouTube and stuff. But it's a really cool stuff, though. And
you can see it here. It's this carbon fiber stuff is the undersheath. But you can see like the plating is very specific, as opposed to Omega where it's all over him. This is very specific areas to protect certain
vitals.
Vital veins and arteries specifically. And of course the heart. Yeah,
musculature, things like that.
And some people have said that I should consider redesigning it, which I can. Maybe someday in the future he'll have another costume, but it would look somewhat similar to this, just less armor. There's a material I've been looking into that I forget the name of. Let me look it up real quick. Because it's harder than diamond, and it's also ridiculously light. Graphene. That could be used for his armor. So have a good night, Chucky.
You see you, Chunky. Yeah. Pleasure, Chunky.
But that's how I came up with all of this, And this here you can see the back plates.
Nice ass.
Yeah, he's definitely competing with Dick Grayson.
It's good. Clap them cheeks.
That's why he's so bad at stealth. He's so dummy thick that the clapping people just hear it.
He's bumping into things with his well-toned ass.
That was actually something that I had to remind Brian, because he was drawing Shorty a little too tall on him, and I'm like, Brian, the Saint is 6'4". He's taller than Batman.
Yeah,
like he's a tall guy. So that's actually something that because like I mentioned, he meets ninjas in the next book.
Yeah,
it's actually something that one of his old teachers says to him is He go because he like the reveal happens that one of his old teachers was a shinobi, and
Yeah.
he goes, "Why didn't you ever train me in this?" And he just smacks him in the legs. Like, legs are too damn long.
Yeah.
Because this is tiny Japanese man,
Right.
Like,
Well, it's funny. One of the cooler things from, if you remember when the Batman, Superman, Supergirl arc,
yeah.
when they go to Barda's house, and you realize how tall Barda is.
Oh yeah.
And I'm talking, man, this was without her uniform on. Like, Superman had to literally fly and hover to look her in the eye. And Batman's just down here, like, I'm gonna steal your stuff.
Yeah. Not by much. Batman 6'2". Okay, so let me say this, just to respond to Gojira.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking as a man who is as tall as Batman, I am 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised at how much those
2
2
inches
inches feel like it feels.
Mm-hmm.
Because my sparring partner in boxing was 6'4", and it felt like anytime I boxed him, he felt miles away.
Yeah,
height is a shocking advantage in combat. So
I think I told you the story one time when I was selling log homes, and there was a dude who came in to look over the homes and stuff, and it was so weird because he was down on his knees signing our guest book, right?
mm-hmm.
I was like, what in the world? And I asked him, I said, hello, how you doing? And he stood up. I'm like, holy shit. And
Yeah.
I had to ask him, I said, dude, how tall are you? And he said, I'm 6'10", right? I'm 6'2", right? I'm same height as you are.
Yeah.
And my dad's 6'5", and he, even when, me and him, you look at us together, you can still see the difference, right? But when you have somebody who's got like another 8 inches on that, holy crap. You don't think it's a lot, but it looks like you're looking to a giant.
Yeah.
And the same thing with, like I said, my pops was, he's 6'5", and you're just like, when he was at, of course, age has kind of brought him down a little bit, but when you looked at him when he was at his height, full height, you were like, this man is a giant. Another good example, if you ever watched, the old Western Gunsmoke, the guy who played Matt Dillon was 6'5".
Yeah.
The reason why he started doing TV instead of movies was because people told him, you're too tall for the movies. You're just too big for everybody else. There's no realistic way that anybody could beat you.
Yeah.
So you need to go do like TV.
Like, and trust me, like as a taller guy, it makes dating kind of awkward too.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you guys to think about this. Like Benjamin Brunson says, at 5'3", I can relate with him. Yeah, I'm all like Optimus and I are almost a foot taller than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's really weird looking at somebody a foot taller than you, because I've met 7-foot people. Like I have a cousin who's almost 7 feet tall.
You ever see the picture of Shaq making out with his girlfriend?
No.
See if I can find it. Because his girlfriend's tiny compared to him, right?
Yeah, and Barda is apparently 7 feet tall. I did not know that. I thought she was a little shorter than that, but
oh yeah, she's yeah.
Barda is awesome, by the way.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's just a picture. Let me open your tab. Share this for you. Just give you an idea. Shaq's 7 feet tall, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how short his girlfriend is, but there you go.
Oh, good Lord.
And there's a picture, and this is the same picture, and because Shaq, like, he loves to fuck with people, right? Especially the media, right?
Oh yeah.
And so he starts, like, he said, let's kiss. And so he gets all scrunched down on the ground. He comes down to her,
Yeah.
and like starts kissing her, and it is so awkward.
Well, yeah, my cousin, my older cousin, the one who is almost 7 feet tall, does, like, his wife is 5'2". Like, so I tower over his wife.
Right.
My cousin towers over me.
Yeah.
So that's it's absurd. Like, when they did the dance at their fucking wedding, I had to go get a chair for her to stand on so they would be eye to eye.
Jeez.
Yeah. So yeah.
I found it. Hold on.
Oh, the one of Shaq? Because I found the one of Barda.
Let me show you this one of Shaq real quick of him kissing his girlfriend. And you can see they're fucking around because you can see the look on her face,
Yeah.
I'll use the same window. There you go. You can bring that one back up. You see how
he has to, like, all the way hunched over.
Yeah, you see how you see there you go. See how he's all hunched and everything like that. You see she's smiling because they're just fucking with the media at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
But it's just so funny. He's like, oh,
yeah. He has to basically envelop her,
right?
So yeah, and this is Barda compared to Clark.
Yeah. Like I said, she's in a towel, so she's not wearing her uniform or anything.
Yeah.
And he has to like hover to look her in the eye.
Yeah. And then, damn, that girl's got legs. But
they go all the way up.
I always loved what Oberon would say to her, like all legs and no heart.
Yep.
That's actually probably my favorite episode of Justice League Unlimited is with her and Scott.
Yeah, that was a really good episode. And then they brought when they brought Wally into it too, that was.
Oh yeah, that is seriously one of the best episodes of that. Probably one of the best things I think Dwayne McDuffie's ever written. And the end is so fucking good.
Yeah.
With because that's the line that Oberon drops at the end, and she's like, "You're just too far away to see it," and then she just gives him a huge hug. It's so fucking good, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I fucking love Justice League Unlimited. Was too good. Dwayne McDuffie was too good for this world. That's why he had to leave.
Yeah,
like, jeez. And I do agree with this assessment.
Yeah, I could totally see Gina playing Big Barda.
Yeah. How tall is she? She's pretty tall for a woman.
She's pretty tall for a woman, yeah. And because with camera trickerations, you can always make them look taller than they are.
Yeah, she's 5'8". So I didn't realize she was that tall.
Yeah, but, man, you're gonna be hard pressed to find a 7 foot tall statuesque goddess like Barda in the comics.
Yeah, that's that good looking.
That's that good looking. Yeah.
They would still have to pull like camera trickery if she was on screen with like Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill's my height, I think. He's pretty big.
He's a tall guy.
I think he is Superman's size, if I remember right. Hold on.
Henry Cavill always tripped me out. It's like, wasn't it the whole thing was like he almost missed his call for the Superman interview because he was playing World of Warcraft or something?
He is almost as tall as Superman. He's only 2 inches shorter.
Oh, is that right?
He's 6'1". Superman is 6'3".
Here's the thing I've always said, and I think anybody who's watched and we've talked and stuff like that, my feelings on the Zack Snyder's Superman stuff.
Yeah.
I'll never at ever point. I think Henry Cavill was a great Superman as far as the look.
I think he understood the character really well too.
Yeah. I think that like given, I'm gonna get some shit in this from someone in the chat. If he had better direction,
I agree.
He could have been one of the best. I mean, really, there's only been as far as movies, there's only been 3, but still.
Yeah. But like you look at Henry Cavill as Superman, and then you look at someone like Jim Lee or Michael Turner's art, and he looks like he came off the page.
Yeah. Especially the redesign out, the suit and everything. Yeah.
Like he just it's so fucking good. Like I would love to see the one person that I want to direct a Superman film more than anybody is the guy who directed the first Thor film, but he also directed Titus and he's done a lot of other Shakespearean movies. Kenneth Branagh. I want Kenneth Branagh to do
Kenneth Branagh, yeah.
I want him to do the next Superman movie. I think he would be better for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to throw Scott Snyder under the bus, even though he threw Geeks and Gamers under the bus. But when it comes right down to it, I really want to have that sort of epic sort of superhero feel, because that's what Thor had, that first Thor movie. Like, and for those of you who have read like Walt Simonson's Thor, I don't care what, like, a lot of people who I've seen didn't like the first Thor movie, don't like Thor.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a Thor movie. If you read Walt Simonson's Thor, that Kenneth Branagh got it.
That's what always bugged me about it, because that was the, like you said, that was a Walt Simonson story. Like, and people talk about like the high fantasy and even saying in the book, in the movie, where magic and science are the one and the same.
Yeah.
On Asgard, and that's the way Walt always had it. That's why I said that was definitive Thor to me. Yeah, Dark World was, I'll give you that.
They didn't really get it, and then Taika Waititi really doesn't get it.
He was trying to make he was trying to make another Guardians of the Galaxy.
Pretty much.
That's all he was trying to do. And I'm not, you know, for what it was fine. But you could have literally put any character in that and it would have been the same movie.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have Thor in it. You know?
My big problem was like the thing about they demasculate Thor so much in Ragnarok, and it made no sense. Like the whole thing with Valkyrie, it's like just have her be a fucking love interest then. Like he's just trying his hardest to impress this chick. There's nothing wrong with that. Like that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, why am I forgetting her name? I'm getting nominal aphasia again. Sif is so much better of a character.
Yeah. They just wrote her off altogether, didn't they? Like,
she's just gone for some reason.
Yeah.
I liked Sif. Like, fuck, dude.
No Sif denied. Didn't they kill off the Warriors 3 also?
Yeah, they killed off the Warriors. Like, everybody from Asgard's dead.
Yeah. All the cool people. Yeah.
Now, the cool thing is that they're bringing in the ultimate bro.
Mm-hmm.
Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I hope they don't fuck that up. I really hope they don't fuck that up.
Have they even revealed who they cast as him?
I don't think so.
But he's actually, I don't think he's in the next Ragnarok. He's in the next Guardians film.
Mm-hmm.
So he will definitely be like the ultimate bro. I have no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is like a Thor movie where fucking Thor and Beta Ray Bill fight the Heralds of Galactus.
That would be awesome.
Just.
Mm-hmm. See, that's kind of, I mean, I don't know if you've kept up with what's going on in the comics lately, but apparently
Stormbreaker is broken. I've read the first 2 issues of the Beta Ray Bill comic.
Yeah, Stormbreaker's broken, and apparently, Mjolnir is not listening to Thor anymore. So I'm like, I know a way to solve this. Get Mjolnir this fucking Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
He's already proven he's worthy, so give him the fucking hammer.
Yeah. And a lot of people, I don't know why a lot of people don't like the Unworthy Thor as a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do like it. It's one of my favorite Jason Aaron stories.
I think I agree to disagree with you on that, but I think I kind of like the idea of what they're doing with Thor now. Is that now that he is King Thor, he doesn't really need Mjolnir anymore. He is King Thor.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm trying to find a couple of good pieces of art. There's one that I really like of the two of them where they are literally holding Asgard on their backs. That was in Civil War, not Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
God, where is it? Because no, it was during Secret Empire. I think that's the one where the Skrulls invaded, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They're literally holding fucking Asgard on their backs. It's one of the most badass pages that I've ever seen. And they're both strong enough to do it. I can't find it. At least I'm having problems because I don't own the book, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it? Fuck. Wait, I found it. So this is the most brotastic squat thrust ever. But look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the absolute strength of these dudes.
That's just like you said, that's bro moment.
Yeah.
Right there. It's like, hey, bro, you want to lift this heavy thing, bro? Let's do it, bro.
Yeah. Like it's so cool. It's this. By the way, after this, if I remember right, the Skrulls almost retreat when they see it.
Mm-hmm. You know what's really cool, and you know what the really cool thing? Just a little thing I just noticed there. Look where Bill's hand is.
Yeah. Well, both of them. Look right here is Thor's hand. Like they've literally joined shoulders. Like that's so fucking awesome.
Yeah. That is so awesome. That's cool.
Yeah, but this was like how awesome of a character Bill is as a person.
Mm-hmm. This is turning on Unworthy Thor, right?
Yeah, this is from the Unworthy Thor. This is what a brother does.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I see the rumors are true. You have lost your hammer. Bill, what? So here, brother, I beg of you, take mine.
Mm-hmm.
I just got goosebumps.
Yeah. And he could have taken it too, and he
Yeah.
would have had his power back because a Stormbreaker does not have the same enchantment that Mjolnir has.
Yeah.
So
that right there, just the look on Bill's face, like
mhm.
the respect that he has for Thor is incredible. Like Beta Ray Bill is one of the greatest characters that Marvel has ever put out. So is Thor, obviously, but do not sleep on Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah,
this dude is fucking awesome. Like one of my favorite characters ever.
Hardball has a good question. Yeah.
Who would I cast for Bill?
Well, we got to realize. I think we could say that Bill would be a voice and not because he would be mostly CG. Who could have the gravitas? You know what I mean? It would have to have some gravitas, wouldn't it? Like,
oddly enough, somebody that apparently they were looking at was Henry Cavill.
Oh, for real? Well,
that would have been
if you remember,
awesome.
There was a rumor last week that he was in negotiations with Marvel.
Yeah.
So it still could happen. Who knows? You know?
That would be some great fucking chemistry. I don't know why I feel like they would have great chemistry, but that would be fucking awesome. Other than that, oddly enough, somebody who could have given him an amazing voice was already in it. It was Idris Elba.
Yeah. I think who was it that I'm trying to remember who voiced him in the you remember in Planet Hulk, and that he was the stand-in for Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
Was it? God, what was his name? I can hear the man's voice, but I can't think of his name. You know what I mean? Like, I know what it is. Planet Hulk movie voice cast.
Paul Dobson.
Paul Dobson, yeah, because he's got that kind of gruff, voice to him.
Yeah, but
you know what? I'm going to say this as somebody who loves Peter Cullen. It wouldn't work because Peter Cullen has three voices, right? He's got Optimus. He's got Eeyore, and he's got the announcer that announced Voltron, which was basically Optimus, just a lot more hype.
Yeah.
Nothing against it. Hey, I love me some Peter Cullen. Anybody who doesn't want to cast Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime, I'm looking at you over there,
Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Rooster Teeth. You pieces of shit. Are insane. If you got a chance to get the man, get the man.
Exactly. No, he would be, if we're gonna like pure voiceover, I would say if you're gonna cast Peter Cullen, be Uatu the Watcher.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
So
I am Uatu the Watcher.
Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne. I would actually rather him return as the voice of the Silver Surfer.
He was so good as the Silver Surfer, right? Like,
yeah,
that was one of the. I forgot who I was watching.
Now here you're thinking of Keith David.
Yeah, Keith David.
I love Keith David. He would not be a good voice for Bill because he's Spawn.
Yeah, you would hear Spawn if he tried to do anybody else.
Yeah, he would sound like Spawn, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
I would rather have a British or Irish actor for him.
Yeah, something that you could portray as alien.
Yeah, but he would have to sound kind of regal because he's their warrior. He's their guy.
Specifically engineered to be, the warrior to, defend them against. It turned out it was Surtur, right? That he was supposed to defend his people against. Yeah. So, and I kind of agree with what somebody said. It kind of blows the load when you bring Surtur in Ragnarok, which was stupid.
Yeah.
Kind of a waste of a villain, but then not have the guy who would have the biggest beef with Surtur besides the Asgardians,
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who else. Gerard Butler would be a good pick, actually.
Yeah, he would actually. Yeah.
Gerard Butler would be another guy I would pick.
Gerard Butler, yeah.
Like if they have to recast Wolverine, though, he would probably be better for that.
Yeah.
I don't think you should. Hugh Jackman still wants to play him.
Yeah, it's funny because like they said this is the last time you're going to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. No, he's if anything, he's proven that he can get shredded and then come back. Okay, Gojira makes a good point. Tony Todd is an amazing voice actor. However, he does a better bad guy.
Yeah. I already like who they've got as Gore the God Butcher, but the problem is, again, it's tied to Waikiki like directing. Because Gore is going to be played by Christian Bale.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, that's cool.
Yeah. The problem is, again, it's Taika Waikiki directing it, not somebody who would actually treat Gore like a serious character.
Yeah.
Because Gore the God Butcher's a great villain.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite Thor villains. Like, again, it's like Jason Aaron's like it's so good. I remember somebody did say Tom Hardy is as Beta Ray Bill. No, Tom Hardy is Venom.
Yeah. It's kind of like once you get into once they've already been cast as a character, it's hard to get them out of that character, right?
Yeah. I don't want good fucking God. Like, he's such a good Venom. Mm-hmm. He's such a good Venom. Isn't Gerard Butler the same age as Hugh Jackman? Yeah, true, but he does keep himself in really good shape. So
yeah, and that's why you just keep it as Hugh Jackman, in my opinion. Just let it ride. But yeah, I think that's what worries me about the next Thor movie is that who's directing it.
Yeah. Oh, another guy who could probably do it, Daniel Craig.
Yeah, that would be a good voice.
He's free.
Yeah, he's free. Yeah, he don't have nothing to do no more. Like it has to be something that invokes like some. It has an accent, invokes some regality.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're going to go down the Bond list, how about Pierce Brosnan? That would be pretty good.
He's pretty up there in age, though.
Yeah, but
they probably want to cast somebody who actually has a physical presence on there, on the stage. So
yeah, because they're going to have to walk around in the suit.
Yeah, they're not going to, because that's for those of you guys who don't know, like the actors who are playing these characters that get CG'd are on set.
Yeah,
most of the time, except for Groot.
Yeah, except for Groot. Yeah,
but
what's his name? Who played Thanos?
Josh Brolin was on.
Josh Brolin. Yeah, he was on set the whole time. Yeah.
So was the guy who plays Rocket.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. He was on set too. Mm-hmm. So
because I think Bradley Cooper didn't he had to carry around like a fucking rocket doll.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they were doing like a Thor video game and you're gonna Beta Ray Bill, I would definitely say the guy who plays Kratos, Christopher Judge, would be a great voice for him.
Boy.
Actually, no, he'd be a better Odin. He'd be a much better Odin.
Yeah. So, either way, boy. Yeah.
Exactly. So
that was a terrible Game Awards, but when he was up there with the kid who who voiced his son.
Yeah.
And he goes everybody was like wanting to say, and he goes, boy.
So, but yeah, Daniel Craig would be an interesting pick for Bill.
Yeah.
The fact that Daniel Craig hasn't been cast as a superhero yet is surprising to me.
Yeah. It seems like everybody else is getting cast as a superhero. I mean, fucking Brie Larson could do it. Why can't anybody else?
Yeah. I would have much rather had him as Batman than Ben Affleck personally.
Yeah.
I like Ben Affleck as an actor, but I feel like Daniel Craig's intensity is a lot better. Yeah. Like the points where he could have sold me on a paranoid Batman better than Ben Affleck did. Ben Affleck cannot. Ben Affleck, like we saw, that's the one thing I will give Justice League is that Ben Affleck's Batman was a lot smarter in that movie. Mm-hmm. He actually plays a clever Batman, the kind of puppet master Bruce. Yeah. Better than any other type. I will say one of the reasons I hate Batman v Superman is because like the simple fact that you have Bruce not just being paranoid, but he's dumb.
Yeah. And I will say this, as something I can say positively about Batman v Superman and Justice League. Jeremy Irons nailed Alfred. That's the Alfred you want. That's gonna have a master who's doing a war on crime.
Yeah.
That's the Batman. I mean, that's the Alfred who was like former, MI6.
Yeah, that's
You know what
the
I mean?
Alfred that
Yeah.
also has a much older Bruce.
Right,
Because
exactly.
one thing people don't realize about the Nolan movies is Bruce is in his 30s the entire time.
Yeah.
He's a young Batman.
Mm-hmm.
He needed a mentor at that point in his life. And then the Alfred that we're familiar with now is like Bruce, I think canonically is in his 40s now.
Yeah.
You know, he's older, he's wiser, you know,
Yeah.
he doesn't need Alfred to be a dad.
He needs Alfred to be a partner,
partner.
essentially.
Yeah.
Because
So-
we already know he's got a dead Robin at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I really wish they would get the guy who did the voice acting for Jason Todd in the animated movie of Under the Red Hood to play him in the DCEU.
Yeah.
But please,
He
for the love of God, please get us a good Red Hood costume.
Because he nailed that. Like, his intensity and everything like that.
Yeah.
Man.
I want
the
people
part
to kind of
that
keep
whole
talking.
part is like,
I'm
I
gonna
could.
pick up a red thing.
Yeah, because he was like, what was that line where he says, like, I could have forgiven you for this, I could have given you that, but I cannot forgive you for letting him live.
Yeah.
That was just the intensity. I was like, man, that gave you chills.
The mask is important though. Like that's the big thing. Like the recent Titan series fucked it up because the eyes are in sort of like a neutral pose and they don't move. And there's no intensity to them. The Red Hood is a mean character. Jason Todd is a dirty fighter. He's a compelling character. I love him.
He's now playing Batman in the Long Halloween films. Okay.
How's he doing in that, by the way? Has anybody watched it?
I watched a clip because I just wanted to see. The only clip I want to see is how they did Grundy, right? And they nailed Grundy. I'll give them that. They nailed Grundy. And it was really cool because, like, he goes down there and Grundy catches the guy that Batman was chasing, and he says, Grundy, you don't want him here, and I don't want him here. If you give him to me, he won't come back. And then Grundy just throws him across the thing, and he leaves. And he says, born on a Monday. I said, that's the Grundy I want right there.
Exactly. But this is how the Red Hood is supposed to look.
Yeah.
That he looks mean. And then this is Dexter Soy's version. Yeah. You see, like this is my favorite. This costume has not yet seen print, but it needs to.
Yeah.
This is Dexter Soy's Red Ronin version of the Red Hood.
Yeah. I like the little red bat symbol.
Yeah, oddly enough, this actually inspired the look of the Saint of Englewood, I won't lie. But the fact that we have not seen this version yet is kind of annoying to me. Because the costume looks so fucking good. Because it does feel like he doesn't have the mantle of Batman, but he's kind of embracing more of the training that Bruce gave him.
Yeah.
So, just that shot right there is fucking amazing. But that's what the Red Hood's supposed to look like. And you if you don't nail that, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. I will say, though, that their Deathstroke, they nailed in the DCEU. Yeah. Deathstroke looks like Slate. Because he looks like the Arkham version.
Down to the mask and everything, right? Yeah. Like,
let me find Joe Manganiello's. Manganiello's haircut is wrong, but they need to fix that. I'm trying to find the Joe Manganiello, by the way, was a great pick to have as Slade. Why could I not find a good image of this? Here we go. Oddly enough, Manganiello with a mohawk looks like a better Slade Wilson than he did when he unmasked here. But that's a really good looking Deathstroke costume. But for reference, like here's the one it's based on, which I think looks even better.
Yeah. That looks so good.
I'm gonna shoot this one down. I love too regal and too old. The problem with Jeremy Irons is he has sounded 60 for 20 years.
Yeah, he sounded like he was in his 60s when he was in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Like,
yeah.
And I loved him in Die Hard with a Vengeance.
I really need to replay the Arkham games for streams in the future.
Mhm.
I've been wanting to do these set of streams that's like, basically the back when Marvel video games were good,
Right.
and yeah, it's people are saying that the Deathstroke from Arrow was good. Let's have a look at it. Let's rate the costume real quick. We might have to do that for a late night Micah in the future. Is a just like let's just rate superhero costumes.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at Deathstroke, because I am not in agreement here. It's too Casey Jones, and
Yeah.
it looks kind of frumpy. Like there's too much on it. The
Yeah.
armor's too thick. Like he's obviously, you could tell that was not comfortable to move in. Like I really don't like this costume personally. If I'm gonna give you like my favorite Deathstroke costume, it is the one from the Christopher Priest run. Let me see if I can find it. Because it's not super complicated, but it just looks. Oh, it's Deathstroke Rebirth. That's what I'm looking for. The Rebirth run of Deathstroke was fucking amazing. Here is the. I found the turnaround for it. This is my favorite Deathstroke outfit. This is a good look for Slade.
Oh yeah.
It's simple. It looks cool. I mean, the mask is really well designed. Here's him fighting Superman. Like it just like the Deathstroke Rebirth. Oh, so good.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking good. Here's a statue of it. Like this is like one of the dopest costumes I've ever seen on a supervillain. He just looks intimidating.
Yeah.
And this is the costume he wore right before that one. That's some good Slade right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love this run. I love it so much. It was so the Arkham ones where he's questioning his sanity. Like it's so fucking good. Christopher Priest is a godlike writer.
Oh yeah.
People have asked the silly question of whether or not I would ever want him to write an Englewood story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, duh.
Right? Like, what are you talking about? Of course. Right?
That was actually something I like yelled at somebody on. Oh, this is probably the best cover that I yelled at somebody on Twitter over. Is like because somebody tried to say I was a racist for writing a black character and not having a black writer tackle it. I'm like, motherfucker, the one person that I would want to write this comic is Christopher Priest, a black preacher. Christopher Priest actually said he likes the concept of Englewood.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any idea? Optimists can speak to this. So can Hatman. You guys remember how giddy I was the day I heard that? Like, I was losing my shit at the fact that Christopher Priest thought it was a good concept, that it was a great idea. He's like, that sounds really good. Like, if there's ever an endorsement I wanted on any of my work, it was that. Mm-hmm. If I could, I want to find a way to send him a copy and just say that, my editor had told you about the story and your compliments on the concept were the kindest I've heard about any of my work. And, nothing against the other professionals who have complimented it, because Ethan EVS has complimented the book. John Malin has too. Art Bear has too. Like, I've gotten compliments from some legendary guys.
Yeah.
That mean a lot to me. But Christopher Priest is the one guy of all the writers in the world that I am chasing in regards to quality and legacy. The one guy I want to be compared to someday. Well, it's two actually. It's him and Warren Ellis. So if we could get Englewood there, I really feel like. And we picked up some more backers during the stream. Now we're only 6 backers away from 100 guys. Only 6 away. So.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Ultimate Agent shaming me. I can't help it, man.
He's like, come on, right?
Well, that's just what Nathan Childress just said. Just, I mean, who wouldn't be?
Yeah. Like, come on, dude. Right?
So, if you haven't backed Englewood yet, please do so. We're gonna go ahead and call it a stream here.
Yeah.
Because Optimus and I are probably gonna talk business and other cool shit that isn't really stream worthy. So, before we take off though, we're gonna play the trailer to Englewood real quick, and then close it out. So, my name is Micah Curtis, the head of Sleeveless Comics. Been a great stream. Love y'all. Back Englewood if you haven't yet already. Back at tomorrow if tomorrow's payday. We'll see you guys next week for more.